I'm so sorry about yesterday. Oh my gosh. I feel so bad. Um, Welcome if you come back this morning. Hey, Miss Chewy, I love you. Hey, Diamonds Creations, Angel, Wendy. Hey, I'm so sorry about what happened. Hey, Lolly. Y'all, I had such a bad headache yesterday. I ordered my son's marker the day before that, and I don't know. It might have even been yesterday. I can't remember. The days running together. But I had such a bad headache, and it was like in my eye, like Jinkies was talking about last night. I think it was from my blood pressure. So it just like I needed to take an extra clonidine, which is what they give you at the hospital if you have an emergency blood pressure problem. So I just took one of my half of one actually, a half of my clonidine, and that thing knocked me out. And I literally woke up. Jinkies texted me and let me know everybody was looking for me. And I woke up, I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked what time it was. It was right before, not long before uh I ended up getting on Daisy's panel last night. That I am so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Hey God's girl. Good morning. I love y'all, Miss Chewy. I love y'all, all of y'all, every one of you. And I appreciate everybody last night that kept checking on me because you never know the way that this crazy world is. Uh, hey, Wendy, we love you. I love Lolly. I love every one of you. Diamonds, Angel, Miss Chewy, God's girl, Miss Sherry. I don't know if she's up this early. She had a wild night last night. I'm just kidding. Yes, we love all of you, like Miss Chewy said. And how are you doing, Miss Chewy? I know you've had a lot going on, and uh, there's a couple of people in here that's been having some stuff going on. And I remember because I wrote down some of this stuff last night. There was somebody I was praying for. I don't think she's in here right now. But Miss Sherry's hand's doing good. I'm proud of her. She's really done good with that physical therapy. Well, I guess I was going to go ahead and talk and really quick. We're going to do a song, and maybe I can throw a link out if anybody wants to come up. Y'all are welcome to. Um, because the name of this live was "My Happy Doesn't Look Like You're Happy," or doesn't have to look like you're happy. And I think that's what people don't understand. I'm making with the help of everyone's prayers and by the grace of God. Amen, Miss Chewy. I feel you there. Oh my gosh. You know, the crazy thing is, my dad passed away in 2016. And it's like he was the last one of our family that was like older than all of us. You know, like all my grandparents have died, all my aunts, all my uncles. Well, my aunt actually, his sister just passed away. She got the old poke, if you know what I mean, the jab, and within 24 hours, the second one, she was in the hospital and she never came back out. That lady was tough as a bird too. She had beat breast cancer. I'm talking about back in the late 70s when the survival rate was not good. She had a quadruple bypass like in the 90s. She's tough. She's tough. So, whoa, that was hard. But the only advice I can give is just like you just said, just take all the prayers you can get and cling to that old rugged cross. As a matter of fact, my friends, two of my friends from high school, one lived in Indiana and she just moved down to Florida. And then another one of my friends, she still lives in Columbia or, around here. But they got together and they sent me this beautiful cross. And it's called the Old Rugged Cross. And it's like worn looking and it's got rope. It is beautiful. And I have it hanging up my den. I'll have to show y'all sometime. But yeah, basically, people have downed the wells a lot for the way they live, or they pick on us on Miss Daisy's channel a lot because we're Southern. A lot of people are Southern on there. I'm not gonna say that that's not true. It is true. But just because we're Southern doesn't mean that we're not intelligent. Um, and that has bothered me a little bit, but it doesn't bother me a whole lot because I know that I'm intelligent and I don't have to get my, what do you call it, my affirmation from YouTube haters. But it is hard when you hear other people say stuff all the time. It's like, what? And it doesn't bother me as much when they talk about me, except if they get a fact wrong. Like the other day, we're, uh, you know what channel I'm probably talking about that does the memes a lot. I don't want to mention it, but he had said that I said that I thought that men that do YouTube need to get a job, and I was not talking about him. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about him. Didn't even cross my mind. I was talking about these guys that owe like thousands of dollars in child support. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Probably several men owe thousands in child support. You know, will pile up in the house with a woman where she'll work, and they won't do nothing but get on YouTube and start drama. Hey, Audra. Hey, Yorkshire Rose. How are you doing? Hey, Tracy. Good morning. I'm so glad everybody came. I didn't know if this early in the morning if everybody would be around or what they'd be doing, but again, I'm so sorry for yesterday or last yesterday evening. I thought for sure that was the perfect time because I said if I get my nap, if I have to take this medicine, which is clonidine, and it does make you tired. I said surely I'll be up, but by then. And I mean, I must have been tired, is all I can say. I haven't been sleeping good. Hey, Matthew, how are you doing? Sorry, I last coming in. I had 2 phone appointments this morning, but I'm free now. Good morning. Well, I'm glad you're free. Good morning, Matthew. You're holding on, say you're holding on, Yorkshire. Thank you. How are you, sweetie? Well, I was explaining I had a headache yesterday and I took my clonidine and a little extra clonidine. Tracy's doing good. And I had a headache. It was like in my eyeball, behind my eyeball. And it was horrible. It was like a migraine headache behind my eyeball. And so I took a clonidine. I knew it was my blood pressure. I took a clonidine, a half a clonidine, excuse me, which a whole one, I wouldn't have probably woke up till this morning if I had took the whole one because I had already taken my clonidine. But that's the kind of medicine they give you in the hospital. And they'll give it to you every 30 minutes until your blood pressure comes down. So it did come down and it knocked me out. It just put me to sleep. And your blood pressure dropping that fast will make you feel dizzy like that. Well, I hope y'all are having a good morning. And I'm going to say a little prayer for everybody. Um, and then we're going to watch a song because I am really trying to promote Rare Breed. He is the best artist I have seen in so long. I have looked at so many of his songs. I cannot find one song I don't like. And I hadn't had that since Hootie and the Blowfish. I used to love every song Hootie and the Blowfish sang. And literally I couldn't find one song on their crack review mirror that I didn't like. I was so proud how Candace handled herself on Daisy's last night. I'm so proud of her. I am too. She did so good. And the night before when she was talking about her childhood and her past. And that's what we're here to talk about today because you know what? I'm going to be honest with y'all. Okay. Right now, I do live in the city. I've lived in the city pretty much my whole life, except for one time I did move out to the country and I loved it. Except I was married to my ex husband. That was the only drawback. Um, but other than that, I loved it. And since I have been married, this time around, I have begged and begged, let's move out to the country. Let's move out to the country. Because I knew where things were headed, honestly. And I just kind of wanted to raise my kids out in the country. So I'm going to be honest with you, other than the SOs around where they lived and some other, other stuff, I love where they live. When I saw that land, I was like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful land up there. I don't think I would have wanted JSB for a neighbor, but you know, I'm very fortunate. I love my neighbors here, but we are kind of close because we're in a suburb right off the city. But they really did have a good thing set up there with the kids, able to go outside and play. And they had that creek back there, and they let the older kids go play at the creek. And, look, everybody's like, I don't think that Candace was a very attentive mom. Well, that's not necessarily true. Like, people are just making assumptions. You know what they say about assumptions? It makes an ass out of you and me both. But I'm just saying, Matthew said, I would love to meet Candace. To Miss Chewy, yes. She's very sweet. She really is. I'm going to try to make it down there. I agree. I don't know if we ought to celebrate the day that Summer went missing. Like, I don't think I'm up for all those kind of festivities. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing something like getting a little candlelight prayer vigil or something and doing that. I I would love to celebrate her birthday. I just feel like that's kind of an odd thing. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit odd to celebrate, but people do things different. Matthew says, oh, wait, Tracy says, I live in the country, particularly my whole life. I love it. No one stays behind me or beside me. See, I love that. Love it. We do got the best neighbors here. We really do. But nonetheless, it's a city. People are getting crazier. So I would love to be in the country. And see, I would have wanted my boys, especially girls. My girls were very girly, except my youngest one. She would get out there and do all the stuff that the boys would do. She liked to skateboard. She liked to. She did gymnastics, so she still does that. Um, so she could tumble out on all those acres all she wanted. So, like, I think they had a really nice setup, and even the house. I mean, their house was a little bit cluttered and stuff, but I mean, come on, all of us have had times where our house. Right now, I don't want nobody to see my house. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been in the mood to clean it. I haven't felt like it. Miss Chewy at Yorkshire Rose. I got to hold my new grandson. Oh, I was gonna say, Miss Chewy, we've did did you show a picture of your grandson? I can't remember. I know that helped. I need my grandbabies. I need them. Like, I want. I hope my granddaughter can come over this weekend. She's my youngest one, and she's lived with us off and on here and there. So I really need her to come on over. Listen, country folks raised our kids in the dirt and always clean, but I can say they are loved. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, even though we live in the city, we had a creek in the back of our house one time. Another house we used to own. It's in the same area, but it was a big creek that ran through the backyard, and then there was like a retaining wall behind that because behind that was a bunch of businesses like restaurants and stuff. Because we are very in, we're really right there in the thick of it. But it was like a cinder block wall that was kind of tall behind the creek, and it ran across everybody's backyard, but we had fences between our houses. I think it was brick on one side, but it had the holes in the brick. You know what I'm talking about. And then on the other side, it was chain link. And the creek would just run through all the backyards. And I had two St. Bernards at the same time. And it was so funny because when it would rain really hard, our backyard would flood. And I looked outside one time, and my St. Bernard was literally treading water with her head sticking above the water, just swimming, swimming. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was the highest I'd ever seen it because it flooded. But my kids loved it. My boys loved to get in that creek and play. And they were like 5 years old, 5 and 6, 4 and 5. And they would throw their daggum shorts off and get in there and skinny dip in the neighborhood. Or not, you know how little kids are. But she'd go there and she goes, "You boys are skinny dipping in the creek. I just thought you should know." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I'd go back there and go, "Boys, get y'all's shorts back on you." You never know when weirdos are around. Chastity. Hey, Chastity. I definitely think it should be a candlelight vigil. Not that's what I say, not a celebration. It should be prayers and candles to find her way home. Right. But to each their own, whatever makes everyone come together for her. That's what I say, Chastity. That's what I feel like too. I mean, it is a good idea, and I'm even the one that came up with the idea for the lavender for the bubbles. But I think that's more for her birthday. I think, and I pray to God something is broken in this case. We've got to have some answers. I have 4 English grandchildren and 6 American grandchildren. Oh wow! So you got, well, add up 10. I've got 6. So I've got the same American grandchildren. I've got 6, not the same children, but I've got 6 grandchildren. But I'm in America. I don't have any anywhere else that I know of. I will say, my youngest son that passed away, he was a long, he was a longshore fisherman. I hope he didn't go to any other areas, like Canada or anywhere else, and spread his seed. The ladies loved him. I'm not gonna lie. He had a hard time with that because they were always throwing their stuff at him, and I'd always read that Bible verse out of about be careful of the wayward women. I used to send that to him all the time. Yorkshire roses. I will plant forget me not plant for her. Oh, that's a good idea, Yorkshire. I love flowers, and I might do something like that too. Honestly, uh, a forget me not plant. That's a really good one. I'm I'm thinking I might plant some jasmine or something because that I think that comes back every year. I'm pretty sure, and I might plant some jasmine because we're fixing to close in our carport to make it a screening porch because we live like on a corner, so you could enter like our carport, when you come to the back of the house, kind of. So it's like the back door, but we're gonna close that in and fence the rest of that in because we have a dog and he has to. She always has to stay inside, and we have to walk her to take her outside because the backyard's not closed in all the way, and she needs that. Osela, if he did it, if he did, it's all good. Go forth and multiply. That smells beautiful. Oh yeah, I love the smell. I love the way that smells. Jasmine, and when the wind blows and it just that smell goes across. Oh, it's so good. Chastity, I saw the video you posted of him singing. He definitely had a way about him. He was very good looking and had a beautiful voice. Thank you, Chastity. He was, and he had a heart the size of, seriously, like he's the kind of person that would do without themselves to make sure somebody else had something. He would give somebody the clothes off his back. Like, man, I'm telling you, I still like am having such a hard time because out of all of my children, now the last 2 are the closest. Like they stuck home closer. The first 2, they kind of moved out as early as they could because they were just ready to open, just bust the world wide open, and you try to tell them, and then they always, and then they end up coming back. Thank goodness. You have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. Well, that's a good number to be able to, what do you call it? Like, because I'm not gonna lie, like well, I wanted more children. We lost. I have actually 2 in heaven, but we lost one, my husband and I, after our last child was born. But how about my daughter? I can't believe it. My last one is graduating May 20th. She walks across the stage, and we got her senior pictures back. I'm gonna post a couple of those. Um, I'm just really proud of her. She is so smart. She graduated a year early. She says she's going into nursing school. I'm trying to, I don't know. Right now, with all this stuff going on with these, you know, hoax, I just don't know if that's what she ought to do yet. I, I told her maybe she's so good at hair and makeup. And I went to school and I started going to school. I changed my major like 3 different times. And finally, I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go finish hair school because I loved it. So I did it anyway on the side. And I was just like, if you find something you enjoy doing, like I used to clean houses and I love to clean up. It was like I never worked and I got money for doing stuff I love to do. So it was the same thing with hair and makeup. So finally, once I got out of my head, oh, well, I have to have this conventional college education, 4-year degree, even though I had already gone for 2 years, I I was like, I think I'm just gonna go back and do this, and I'm so glad I did. I made so much money doing hair, and I loved it. And it's also something if I can get my health back now that I could do even from home. Yorkshire said, Selah, my story would also break your heart. It's long and painful concerning my boys and their children. Maybe one day we can talk privately. Yes, Yorkshire. I would love that. Do you have look on my community page because my email is on there and send me an email and just if it don't say Yorkshire Rose on your email, just put Yorkshire Rose in parentheses under the comment, where you're putting the title at, so I'll know it's you, and we can get together that way and talk. I would love to talk to you because I feel like the Lord uses the broken to help the broken. That's how He does it. My pastor always always says, "I don't trust anybody without a limp." And what he means by that is, unless you've been tried by fire, unless you have been through something, he's like, I don't trust you. Because you can believe if you're living for the Lord, the enemy is going to come after you. He is going to. That's not an if or an and or but. It's a I'll promise you. If you are doing something and making a difference in the kingdom of God, the enemy is going to constantly harass you because his first job is to keep us from coming to the knowledge of Jesus Christ. His second job is to keep us from being proficient or being uh, effective at being a Christian, you know? And that's what he wants to do. And if he can't do that, then he'll try to wreck everybody around you. Yorkshire said he is on my coattails, believe me. Tracy said, I'll be back. Got to run out for a few minutes. Okay, yes. Well, if we're still on, come on back in, Tracy, when you get back, and be careful out there. Ooh, I'm telling you, I don't even know about getting. Well, what are you going to do with yourself? Matthew says, is she going to continue to stay with you and your husband? Yes, she promised me. She's going to stay here until she gets married. So hope that's a good ways away. Although we're Christian, and she is in love, and but she's still very young, and her boyfriend and her, she does have a promise ring. I'm not gonna lie, she does. But we said I think about 2 more years at least would be good, and then maybe get engaged. And then it takes about a year to plan a wedding. Well, it will for me anyway. I'm not fast about things. So uh, I think that would be a okay age because they have been together a really long time, and they've been friends since they were like she was in the fourth grade, and then they did fine arts together all through middle school and high school at church. And he's actually the nephew of one of the associate pastors, and his granddad used to be one of the associate pastors at our church long ago. He's passed away now. Um, she is. about to be 18. So, well, she's she's going to graduate at 17, so I'm very proud of her. But it won't be too long after that she'll be 18. Her birthday is kind of at a weird time. So, basically, I wanted to homeschool her from kindergarten. I and my husband went round and round about that. I wanted to homeschool her because I've already gone through three other children that went in the public school, and it wasn't near as bad back then. That was in the 90s. It wasn't near as bad as it is now. And I mentioned before, I was a long-term sub when my kids were in um, elementary school. I still did hair. I owned a hair salon and all that kind of stuff. And I had people working under me, but I wasn't always there. My mom would sit up at the register and she'd kind of keep things going. But I wanted to be where my kids were. If they were at school, like I wanted to be where they are. And so they always had sub jobs open every day, and they would call me every single day, just about. But it's so I could be there with them. And I feel like that children, I don't know, these days, all kids can be mean. They can. But when you have a child that has a very sensitive spirit, and she had a great elementary school. I'm not going to say she didn't. We did have we were very, very blessed because we do live in the South, and they don't push all that nonsense as much here as they are in other areas. And uh, so she went to public school up until she was in the fifth grade. No, fourth grade. We started homeschooling in the fifth grade, and we homeschooled. And then my dad passed away at the end of that year, so she ended up going back to regular school, starting in middle school. She just wanted to try it, so she went. And literally, two maybe it was about the second 9 weeks, she was like, "Mama, I think I just want to homeschool." So we homeschooled, and then she started cheering for our local high school in middle school because she's really that good, that the coach actually called me up and said, "Look, just bring her to practice. I'll work it out with the district. Even though y'all are homeschooling, she can cheer." And she was in middle school and was cheering for varsity at our high school, at our local high school. So I'm so proud of her. Yorkshire said, "I married at 18, had my first boy at 19, my second at 22. I managed and was happy when I brought them up. It was a struggle, but my ex was nasty and distant. I stuck it. I stuck it for until my boys grew and married with children of their own. Then I left. And from there is a long, painful story." Well, Yorkshire, I can't wait to hear it because some of that sounds similar, except I didn't stay with mine. I left when they were very young. My youngest was 6 months old. My youngest son, the one that just passed away, he was 6 months old. And I ended up marrying my best friend from high school. So I still hadn't been single since I was like 17. I got married at 17. My mom signed for me to get married because I was pregnant. And um, you know how kids think they want to get out the house? Well, I thought I wanted to get out the house. It was a little bit, rocky there, but I jumped out of the pot into the frying pan. Let me tell you something. Oh, thank you, Yorkshire. God bless you, and Matthew with your children and grandchildren, and um, let's see, how many of us have grandchildren? I know Miss Chewy just had her beautiful grandson. I think a lot of us have broken stories like that, honestly. And I think that that's why I think Miss Daisy's channel is different, because so many of us are going through things or have gone through things, and we like to share and be kind. And that's why my channel, the same way, I like to be kind, and I do like to keep things on the positive. I will address people as you see on my things. If people come after my friends or attack my friends, I'm going to speak up and I'm going to say something. I am. And uh, I have a personality like that. And God made each of us with our own distinctive personality. And I feel like that people going over every single item, like what Summer ate for breakfast and the boys ate for breakfast, and Candace about them hot dogs, that is irrelevant. That has nothing to do with what happened to Summer that day. Nothing. So it's like people would just want to take things and get answers out of her and twist it around. That's why that other video I made, wells, will it ever be good enough? Because I don't think it will. I don't think, I think somebody could seriously put Candace or Don up on panel and the chat go through one by one with 1,000 people in it and ask them a question. And no matter what they say, people are going to twist it around. No matter what they say, they're going to find fault in it. And that's what hurts me the most, is that I don't know what happened. I'm going to be honest and say, I don't know. But until I do know, I know that it's not hard to give the benefit of the doubt. And after 2 years, especially, I don't think the Wells have outsmarted the FBI and the TBI. Now, I won't say anything about Hawkins County, but I don't think that they could outsmart the TBI and the FBI. I just do not think that. And if I thought it, I'd say it, but I don't. I used to say what I thought at first, that I thought they could possibly be guilty, only because you always look at the parents first and then work your way out. But I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to be nasty to them because at this point, I really don't think they know, you know, where she is. And also, somebody made a thing yesterday about they took that thing of Miss Daisy's and took it apart again, made a big deal about what Candace said about, I think she's alive. I know she's alive. Well, of course she's going to want to keep hope up about her daughter. And they were making a big thing about that, like, oh, she knows something. I'm sure that if she knew something, her daughter would be safe and she wouldn't cry about it. She would not be broken about it. And I've seen her cry and I've seen her broken. So I don't think she knows where she is. I went along with that. I thought about that in the beginning. I said, well, maybe they put her somewhere with somebody safe until they could, get some of this. Maybe they were being threatened and maybe somebody was threatening them. That's what I was thinking. And I said, maybe they sent her somewhere, so she would be safe. But at this point, I don't think that. I think after 2 years, I think we would have known something about that. Um, and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, Matthew. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking that the other day. It's like, even though she's here, she's going to be here with us. She's going to be doing her own thing. She does work full time. She goes to school and she's going to, well, she'll be off for the summer, but she'll start back in the fall at, college. My nose is stopped up, y'all. Excuse me for a minute. I'm going to try to, I might mute myself while I blow my nose. I don't want to gross y'all out. If I can find where my napkins are. Come on now. Well, okay. I'll try to suck it up. But anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I wish I was feeling better, and I hope I can get to feeling better with my energy because I would love to go back to doing hair again. I really would. I miss that so much, and I'm artistically, I guess what's the word? I don't know. I feel like I'm creative. I'm creative. That's what it is. So I love to paint. Um, I love to do makeup. I love to do hair. Like I do it for fun, now. Like I don't charge people to do their hair, but if they need their haircut or something. But I have to sit down whenever I'm cutting it these days. I can't stand up like that on my feet for long hours like I used to. But I miss it so much. Wendy said, my youngest child is 21 and my oldest is 31 and I'm 54. Gigabytes. That, that's good. I like that, Wendy. Well, I'm 52 gigabytes. Is there if that or is that what you mean, gigabytes? Or God bless. I'm not as good with these like these some of these terms. I hadn't learned them yet. But you're not far off from me, Wendy. Because I'm just 2 years behind you. And my oldest is, well, my oldest would be 38, but my parents made me, yeah, they forced me to have an abortion when I was 15. So unfortunately, but I'll see that baby in heaven. Celeste is her name. But I'll see Celeste in heaven. And the other baby we had that actually had an ectopic pregnancy after this child. So we would have one that is a little bit younger, but the Lord decided not. Um, Sayla, you are so much like me with your happy choices. It's weird. Yeah, we do have to choose what our happiness is. Like to me, raising my kids are the happiest thing of my whole life. Like I love doing hair and all that kind of stuff, but to me, there's nothing better than being a mama. I think I was born for that. Literally, I remember like I used to babysit kids even when I was little. I mean, I would watch littler kids all the time when they would come over. My mom's friends or whatever, if they had young kids, I would sit there and hold babies for like hours at a time, and they would always fall asleep on me. It was just, oh, Great Britain. Okay, okay, I got it. People need to just stop. Matthew said, I still can't help but feel it might be someone they knew. Yeah, I agree. In my heart, I don't think they done anything to or with Summer. I agree with you, Matthew. I do think it's somebody that came by their house or knew them or was around them in some form or fashion, whether that be through the church, whether that be through the neighborhood, whether that be just somebody that might have come up there once or twice, even to buy weed from old, what's his name, next door. And Don, he's said a couple of people. Chastity said, I have a hair phobia. I can't touch anyone's hair or don't like to see body hair. LOL, I keep mine up in a ponytail or a bun so it's not touching my neck. LOL, I used to make my hubby brush my boy's hair. Some people are like that. I've heard of that. Now, there have been some people to come in before that I was like, you're going to have to go home. They would come in with like a head full of lice or something. And look, lice happens. It is a very common thing here in the United States. And people actually have the wrong concept. They think that people have lice because they're dirty. And that's not true because a lot of times if somebody's hair is filthy and oily, lice won't even they can't even cling to it, if you know what I'm saying. Like um now once you already have lice and if you let your hair get dirty after that because of whatever reason, I don't know, but like you can keep it and it can get worse. But I'm gonna say this: people that keep their hair clean and go to school and their hair like goes and touches the other desk, or you go to the movie theater. I know people don't think about this, but you go to the movie theater and you sit back on those headrests and stuff, and the people there before you, lice can jump. They really can. So you got to be careful. I know my mom used to make us when we go to the theater because she loved the theater. She just loved to go to the movies, but we'd take napkins and put it over the back of the headrest where we put our head back there. Like that's gonna matter. Like one can't get on the napkin. I guess it's a little bit of protection, kind of like a toilet seat cover. Oh, you're a qualified hairdresser, Yorkshire. I adore children and couldn't wait to be a mommy. I always I've always loved animals too, and they me. It's like they know we love them somehow. Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna even tell y'all how many cats we had at one time because we had three cats that had litters. Matthew said, I cried for 2 weeks after my daughter got married and moved out. She married a wonderful man. I just wasn't ready to let her go. I know how you feel, Matthew. I know how you feel about that. Because even though I know this is coming years down the road, I'm still not ready. It's still making me kind of anxious. I don't want my babies to move out. My son lived here literally until he, I think he was like 30 when he moved out. I wanted them here. Oh my gosh, I would love to live like the Waltons. Back in the days where you had the big houses and everybody just was like, "Good night, John Boy. Good night, Grandpa. Good night." I would love that, but it's hard. You can't make your kids do stuff they don't want to do. I mean, now they would all love to live here, but you know, uh, it's harder when they're older like that because you know they don't want to. Well, they don't want to listen to you no more. Empty nest syndrome is horrible, and I haven't really tasted it fully because I still have my daughter here. But honestly, after she graduates, it's gonna feel like that because I mean she's gonna be old enough now. We still have rules. Even my son that lived with us all those years, my youngest son, the one that just passed away, um, he was a mama's boy. I'm just gonna be honest with you. He was a mama's boy, and he hadn't gotten married yet, and he wanted to get married, but he kept picking the wrong girls. But um, he, I was hoping and he does have two children, and I was really hoping that he and his oldest son's mom would get together. He did want a little girl, and I really wanted them to get married and have one more. And I was hoping so much it would be a little girl. And she just, when they were talking again, actually, and when my son passed away, and it just broke her. She couldn't even make it to the celebration ceremony of home because she just couldn't deal with it. They had been off and on again since they were in high school because he was 19 and she was 18, I think, when their child was born. Matthew said, my daughter got lice when she and we would work on getting it out, and I felt like within weeks it would be back. I had her prayed over, and after that, we never dealt with it again. Yeah, we had that problem with with three children close together. They were all a year apart. One of my daughter had long hair, like it was down to her waist, and oh, that was a mess because I'm a fanatic because lice creep me out. So I can understand, everybody made a big deal about Candace cutting Summer's hair, but somebody had mentioned something about lice, and I think I did see a lice box on one of those tables whenever they went through the house before. And that's nothing to be ashamed of because, listen, if one person gets it, usually the whole family will get it if they use the same brush, especially, or if they sleep in the same bed or use the same pillow, anything. And it's so hard to get rid of them. And unless the child is willing to sit there and be still and let you put them in front of you, and y'all know what I'm talking about, them little combs, you've got to go section by section by section by section because it's not good enough just to treat it. You got to comb all those eggs out and those nits out. If you don't do that, it's going to come back in about 2 weeks. It's like fleas. Once you get fleas, it's so hard to get rid of them. And I don't judge people for getting lice because they really can't help it. And most people don't even know how to get rid of it. And it is a battle, and I do hair, and it's a battle, and we went through that. And even with my daughter, a friend of hers that lived in the apartments that we used to live in, she had it, and um she would I of course treated my child, and I go and get the stuff from the doctors. I don't play around because I know they're resistant to that stuff off the shelf. So we usually call in for pyrethrin, but it's a certain type that's for the hair for the doctor. But that stuff will kill it. And it's got lindane in it, I think, or it used to. I don't know if they just still do that or not. But it does kill it, but you still got to get them nits out because they don't kill those. And if you don't get those, and make sure you really need to do it 2 weeks apart, because that's when the second little batches would be hatching out, and you don't want them to have time to lay eggs again. So you have to get rid of them like in that time. And I can understand why Candace may have shaved everybody's head if that was the case, because it is doggone near impossible when people have long hair to get rid of it. It took us a long time. It did. I mean, a couple of months, and it was a constant, constant, constant. Every other week, treating them every other week. The boys, now it was easier for them because see, I could keep their hair cut real short, especially in the summer. But with girls, and you got real long hair, it is so hard. Lice and mice, yuck. My kids suffered with lice from school. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When they go to school, they're gonna get lice, just about a promise. And well, boys sometimes they don't because their hair is so short, but with girls, with that long hair, uh, you're definitely gonna have to deal with it. And then the boys will get it, if they share the same brush as their sister or whatever, or even if they share a comb with another boy or something at school. Kids are kids are nasty. They do some nasty stuff. Oh gosh, like, you just never know. That's why germs and stuff, like, people are so like germophobic with their kids, and I'm like, if y'all only knew what kids did when they're outside making mud pies and like eating them. I know we did that whenever I was a kid. We'd make mud pies, and I remember tasting it one time, going, well, "Let's see if it would what it would taste like." I had a very good imagination. I had it pictured out to taste way different. Wendy, that's where your daughter kept getting it. Matthew said is at school. You got to do all that school or it's no good. Yeah, because if you get it off of them, and they're going to come back and they're going to get it again. Chastity said, Matthew, my oldest son, lived with us until he was 27. Same, my son was just a couple years older than that. I wanted him to get married and he still live here, lol, but he was able to buy a 25-acre property. Wow, that is nice. Woo! If my son would have bought a 25-acre property, I would love that for him, but I would have probably been like, sweetheart, can I put just a little travel trailer at the edge of your property so that I can come stay with you sometimes? Because I had separation anxiety with him too. My youngest two, like I said, my older two, my daughter moved out. Well, she moved in with my mom. We had a big to do about that because she had her first baby. She was 17, and I wanted her to stay with me. So because I had a baby 5 months apart. My daughter had a child. We were pregnant at the same time. So I really started over. Um, we were pregnant at the same time. She had her baby 5 months before I had mine. That was an interesting dynamic. It looked like Father of the Bride too, if anybody's ever seen that around our house. My poor husband and the boys were walking around in the summertime with um like sweaters on and hats and scarves. We had window units going, the central air conditioner going. It was hot all the time. My poor husband, he'd have to get out at 12 at night and go get cotton candy or ice cream runs. But yeah, we are very pro life, and I raised my children that way. So uh, she had the baby. She had a little boy, my oldest grandson, and he is about to be 18 in just a month, a little over a month. And so they grew up. My son and my grandson and my daughter were only 5 months apart, so they grew up very close. And then we got pregnant again the second time together, which is why I told my mom, because she was trying to get me to let her boyfriend move in with us, and I was like, no, just because you had a baby before wedlock and stuff like that, don't mean that I'm letting your boyfriend pile up in here with us. Now that's not happening. Now you need to finish your school and work. And I wanted to just teach her how to take care of her child. Like, I was gonna keep him during the day for her to go to school, finish school, and go to work. part time after school so that she'd have enough money to pay for his diapers and the things that he needed because I felt that was important to teach her. And my mom undermined me and let her move in with her and let her boyfriend move in. And I told my mama, I said, Mom, she's going to end up like you. No offense. But my mom had to live in a marriage that she was not very happy in because she felt stuck sometimes. And I just didn't want my daughter to feel like that. And I wanted her to have her own identity because I think that's important for women. Whether you work or not out of the house, it's important to have something to fall back on in case things don't work out. I learned that, and I'm so thankful I did. I'm thankful that I was able to do what I had to do to get out of that situation that I was in. But I was afraid for her. I said, "It'll be no time, Mama. She'll have a second baby, and then it's going to be harder the more children she has." And she would not listen to me. And where I live at 17, kids can move out if they want to. Like, there's nothing you can do. You cannot stop them legally. Oh my gosh, yes. Bed bugs. That's another thing. And my husband owns a termite pest control company, but he hasn't even done bed bugs. They're so hard to get rid of. They really are. And you can get them so easy these days at hotels. Every hotel almost has them. Chastity said, "I'm going to put a camera on it. My hubby hunts it during hunting season, but it's over an hour away, so I definitely have separation issues. LOL." Oh yeah, he's gonna take your child next time, next hunting season. That would be so scary to me. We bought our boys shotguns when they were 16 because we live in the South, y'all. I'm just gonna say, see, my happy and your happy might be two different things. That's what I'm trying to say. I know people from different areas, but my husband hunted, and he uh like I said, back whenever we were young, we used to, all the guys like used to have gun racks in their cars or trucks, and they literally went hunting after school, dove hunting. And when was deer season, whatever season it was, they would go right after school and go hunting. We never had any school shootings or nothing like that. Uh, Wendy said my 34, 24, and 21, my grandson who was 19 and just passed to be a dental nurse all live with me. Oh, cool. See, I would love that. I really would. I really would love that. I think people live, don't they? Um, Wendy, you're in Great Britain. Uh, well, let me ask you this: what did you think about that coronation ceremony? And Yorkshire Rose, if you're still in here, what do you think about that? Because I don't know. I have a weird feeling about that whole situation. It's just me about who those people really are, the royals. Matthew said I would set my daughter on a sheet in the floor. We would be there for hours, both of us crying through it. I know when they're tender headed, oh my gosh, it's horrible. But if you put that stuff on there, they got some stuff that will make it a little more soft so you can comb through it. But it is still horrible no matter. It's a bad situation. And the best thing you can do is annihilate them immediately. And if you do have boys, it's better just to shave their hair down. Y'all, I remember back in the day when I was young, they used to treat our hair with kerosene. Do y'all remember those days? When if you'd get lice at school, they'd put kerosene on your hair. And my parents smoked. That could have been a bad situation. My grandma did too. Your hubby's from the South? Cool. Well, from the south of, like, the southern part of America, though. I just watch William's Children. LOL. I don't accept Camilla, and I think they could have treated Harry better. Yeah, my thing is this: why would they let that pedophile Prince Andrew? I'm sorry. I hope I won't get a X for that or a strike, but I'm just saying, we know what he is with his non-sweating self. Supposedly, oh yeah, I remember I had a condition I couldn't sweat. That's how I knew. Um, I don't accept any of them. I hate to say it. I think they're corrupt, just like our government is here. And I'm kind of concerned about what they do in secret. I'm just gonna say, because I've met some people through my well, kind of like what Duyani's been through, survivors, uh, and I've met some of them from Great Britain or the UK who have actually had some bad things happen with them by the royal family. And has anybody ever heard of oh, what was his name? Jimmy Savile or Jimmy Savile, however you want to say it. He had like a open door policy at the Buckingham Palace. And oh, you met Prince Andrew? I bet he is rude. They're all entitled, spoiled brats, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Oh, Yorkshire, he's from Savannah? Okay. That is south. That's right, close to where I am. I love Savannah. Have you ever been there yet? Yeah, hit the like button if y'all can. I never remember to say that. Hit the like button if you can. Thank you, Diamonds. Because it does something where it lets your channel go further or something. And I'm almost okay. I got up to 482 subscribers, I think, and I lost a couple, but I think YouTube messes around with that because the other day they did that on Miss Daisy's channel. I went up there and was trying to talk, and it said that I have to be a member for 20 minutes before I can comment because it was in subscriber only mode, and I was like, "What? I'm on that panel all the time. I have been a subscriber and a member for a while. What in the heck is going on?" I think YouTube does that. I think they'll knock people off. Yeah, Diamonds, corruption is everywhere. You are so right. And oh my gosh, that pervert. You're right, Yorkshire. He is a pervert. They're all perverts. I really believe that. And out of all of those royals, the only one that I ever gave a toot about was Princess Diana. I felt like she was basically bred for what she did. And when I was watching some of that coronation, and I was trying to tell people when they were on there, and I was talking to them, I was like, "Y'all, this is just ungodly. Like the way they're talking about this, and the way that they just," I said, "This is idolatry. First of all, we're not supposed to be idolizing people like this. Only the Lord Jesus Christ." And I was on there typing, "There's only one King, and that's Jesus. I will not call anybody else king." And it was funny because some people in there were like getting mad at me, but I was like, and there was more people in there than just me talking about that. But it's funny because I was just like, I will not call him a king because of the way that I feel. Oh, thank you, Diamonds. I don't know about I have heard about the algorithms and all that stuff. I just don't know how they work. I'm learning this thing as I go, and I'm so thankful for y'all's patience. I just literally learned about StreamYard through another creator that I'm doing right now. We're reading the Warren Jeffs book. She's reading it, and I'm kind of helping because I kind of have done religious studies, so I'm like helping a little bit. I think we were supposed to go up there Wednesday. I don't know what happened, but her grandma's been sick, and you can go in my community. Whatever you want to call it, my community page, and you can see it on there. It's Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock usually, but her grandma's not doing real well, so she might have had an emergency this week. Um, Chastity says, "Yeah, I have a problem sometimes with channels. I have to Resubscribe to get notifications and chat. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Like, sometimes I don't get notifications, and then that's what happened with me with that. That's what I didn't understand. I got the notification, but then whenever I was in there, it said I had to be a member for over 20 minutes. And I'm like, if I wasn't, I mean, subscriber, I was like, if I hadn't already been a subscriber and a member, how did I get this notification? It was weird. I don't know. It seems like they don't want your channel to get big or something. I'm not sure what it is because I know the more subs you have, it seems like the more they do you like that. Kate and William are fine, but most of them are inbred. I think, yeah. And I don't, I did a lot of research on this probably about 10 years ago. Um, yeah, there's some things with William, like, I think, didn't Princess Diana said that they did in vitro with her with William? I'm I don't know if this is true, but okay, I know y'all saw in the tabloids over in the UK, you had to, that Prince William's father is that soccer player, and he does look just like him. I'm not gonna lie and say he don't, because Charles is always with. He loved Camilla from the beginning. He wanted to be with her. I don't even think he wanted to marry Diana, but you know how they have these prearranged marriages and stuff because the bloodline and all that. And I remember being a child. I don't remember how old I was. Maybe 12. I can't remember what. Oh, no. Did they get married in 81? I think. Because I remember sitting down and watching that all day long, that whole big, huge wedding when I was a little girl. Hey, think you're doing great. Wendy said, I love Diana. When she died, our royals died to me. Well, since Justin called me a conspiracy. He said he thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I'm like, well, okay, well, if anybody comes up with any other theory than a fact about Summer, like what was going on yesterday, and I'm not throwing shade at nobody because I really like him. I actually do. I'm subscribed to his and there's something about him that is endearing to him. I'm not sure. I just don't like the way he goes after people and talks about people sometimes before he knows all the facts about it. And he just took the fact of what I said about these men YouTube creators need to get a job. He thought I was talking about him, and I totally wasn't even thinking about him at all. But anyway, I think he got salty about that. But um I don't he just doesn't. And then also I think he like tries to down or look down upon people who maybe don't have huge channels. My thing is this, I haven't really worked to grow my channel. I mean, I really haven't. I just get on here and talk to people, and I feel like the Lord will send who he's supposed to send, and they'll be here, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, I know there are tactics that you can use or things that you can do, but I mean, this is not a full-time job for me. It's just not. It's just where I go to talk to people, and I think it's great therapy. I think it's wonderful to be able to talk to people around the world. I mean, what a fertile mission ground. And we all have so many things in common, more than we think. So it's wonderful to get in here and talk to other people, get ideas from other people, because everybody has their own opinion in the way they like to do things and the way they do things. So that's why I said this title, okay, what Justin's happy is maybe, and I don't know this, I'm not even saying this is the deal, but maybe to him, a certain appearance is important. Maybe keeping yourself in a certain way, keeping everything just so. Some people are like that. And to a certain degree, I am only because myself, not because what I want care about what other people think. Some people care more about what other people think than their own happiness. They would rather something look a certain way and not be happy than to be happy and not care about what other people think. See, I'd rather be happy and just not care about what other people think. Hey, Nay, missed you yet? I'm so sorry. Last night, you were right on. I read because I was reading the comments, and I had blood pressure problems, and I took a half a clonidine, and I went to sleep, and I did not wake up except for Jinkies texted me, and I think it sent my notification thing off, and it woke me up. So thank the Lord that Jinkies called me. She was like, "Sayla, where are you? Miss Sherry's worried." And then she was like, "And everybody in your," and I was like, "Oh no, I missed my life." And I thought it was the perfect time. I'm so sorry. The modern royals seem different, but maybe that's because we're older too. Yeah, I think that what's happening is Yorkshire, I think they've always been like this, but I think that we were at a different time, place in history. I think a lot of things that have been hidden in the dark are being brought to the light, if you know what I mean. I think that the Lord is uncovering a lot of dirty deeds that are done in the dark, and He's exposing them all over the world, not just in America, not just in the UK, not just with the royals, but all of the governments that are crooked. I think a lot of them are being exposed. Wendy says, I'm in West Yorkshire, Great Britain. Oh, she's in the West. Chastity, I agree. I wish I knew why they do that. What Chastity said, I missed that. Let's see. Let me go back up here. I always have to go back. Oh yeah. Oh, about the subscriptions and notifications. Yeah. And also, I'll say this because I always say this because I believe in promoting and helping other people. So if anybody has a channel and you know your link, if you want to like write it down there, and then if any of the mods in here would be willing to share it. I don't see Rowan. Um, I'm not sure where she's at. She took a little break off of Facebook for a while, so I can't get in touch with her really, except for by phone. I can call her, but I'm not sure. She might be going through some stuff. I don't like to bother people whenever, if they're, I'll just pray for them. And if they need me, then they can get in touch with me because, you never know what people are going through. And that's what I was trying to say. I'm not making excuses for Don or his behavior at all, but we don't know what these people have gone through. That's what I'm saying. Like, gosh, I can only imagine with the grief that I'm going through. Like, if my son was 5 years old and he was taken, okay, and I did not know if he was alive or not alive, or if some weirdo had him, which is what I think their biggest fear is. I think that honestly that's their biggest fear because I know that would be my biggest fear. And so people browbeating Don for saying what people could be doing to Summer. Of course, that's where your mind is going to go to and think because you're so afraid. Look, if you watch any of these crime channels, and Candace said, she said that Don watched those shows. Excuse me. I have a little bit of, I think it's summer allergies, but anyway, pollen. Um, but she said that Don watched those shows. Now, listen, I do too. So I know that's immediately, anytime I can't find my children for 24 hours, I don't care. They're 30. I don't care how old they are. I'm hunting them down if I haven't talked to them in like 24 hours because you just never know. And I probably, some it's because I watch them shows and I just know what can happen. And just the most random thing. Like, I am positive because I know it was like this whenever when my older son came in and told me that day about my younger son passing away. Like, that was something like, honestly, like a sucker punch is the best way I can describe it because we did not expect it. We did not see it coming. And I think that's the way it is when kids are kidnapped, really kidnapped, the ones that are actually taken by strangers or somebody, and the parents don't know. That's a sucker punch. Like, you don't expect that to happen. And listen, by the grace of God, none, I haven't had to go through that, and I can't imagine what it would be like to go through. And I used to be on the hate train, not the hate train so much as just the blame train, because I was listening to this one, listen to that one, listen to this, and listen to Jody, when she was first came out. I never cared for her very much in the beginning because there's something dark, what I'm saying, about her. I can tell it in my spirit, kind of like the Dodson thing, the David Dodson. I can kind of feel something dark in my spirit. You know how you just have discernment sometimes? I just feel there's some weirdness. Oh, thank you, Matthew. Yeah, that's what I say. I like it. I don't think I would ever want to have thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers because it's hard to get to know everybody personally like that. No, it's good if I'm 500 or around there. And as y'all see, I'm not monetized or anything like that. So I don't know if that's the reason why people want to like get up to a certain number. And listen, if this was going to be my job, if I ever turn this into my job or something, then I guess that's what I would do. I would try to work on doing that, and I do want people to see my content because I do think I have pretty good common sense. And I think we do talk about things that would help a lot of people. Oh, yeah, Wendy, definitely. And I found out, like, she doesn't even deny it that she's into the Wicca. You know what I'm saying? So that concerns me a little bit. Now, listen, I understand. I not practiced. Woo, I've studied all kind of religions. Okay, and I used to be very before. I've told people I was not a Christian my whole life. I was not raised in church at all. I think I went with my grandmother to church a couple times when I was a little tiny kid before she hurt her back and had to have back surgery, and then she couldn't go really that much anymore there. But other than that, maybe if I spent the night with a friend from school and we went up and went to church. But of course, you don't really ever pay attention much when you're a kid. But I always had a drive to find out who Jesus was. I was a precocious little child, and because I was an only child for so long, I had a very extensive vocabulary, and I would just talk to people like adults because I didn't have a whole lot of kids to play with. I had two cousins, and that I was close to, but other than that, I was pretty much only with adults. So I was always bugging them, asking them questions about God and the Trinity and how is that and this. My mom and dad didn't go to church, but like my aunt and uncle, they went to church. So I would ask them questions, and she would be like, "I don't know." Finally, they would just say, "I don't know." But it gave me the hunger and desire to search out. But it led me down some wrong roads too. I've explained before. I have sat when I used to work for Orkin. I literally sat with a man that was a vampire. He had a casket in his house that, well, two of them for him and his wife. Um, Supposedly they slept in them. He showed it to me. And I was like 22, maybe 23 years old at this time, and I worked selling pest control for Orkin, and this man, I went to his house, and he was an actual vampire, and I just asked him all these questions. He gave me a pen, and it had some vampire like their association or whatever. They have an actual association, and I asked him. I was like, "Well, do y'all take blood from people against their will?" I was thinking at that time it's probably not a good idea of me sitting here because he's like a really old guy and kind of weird. I got that weird feeling off of him, but I was so intrigued and one. I just never knew people really actually lived like that. Like they lived as a vampire. It's weird. And I showed. Well, he wasn't my husband then. We just lived together. He was like, "You sat down and talked to somebody that said they were a vampire for an hour. What's wrong with you?" He could have. locked the door and done some weird stuff to you or done anything to you. And he's right. He could have. I was young and stupid at that time. Oh, hey, Lady 7 Up. Oh, I hate you have to leave, but it was so good to see you. I'm sorry if I missed you in here in the chat. It's hard to get to all the things when you're reading and talking. And my nose is so stopped up I can barely breathe. But we loved having you here, Lady 7 Up. Please come back. And I'm so sorry if you were here last night waiting, and here I was sleeping like a, I don't even know which, a sloth. Yorkshire says, my son is 6 years old. He asked me when God made the world, what did he stand on? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great. Kids are so funny. I love kids. The questions they ask, they're great. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Wendy. I try, but we're all just trying to get through this life and survive. That's what I feel like right now. It's survival in so many areas, not just, grieving my son, but, I mean, everybody's having a little trouble with finances because everything has skyrocketed. It's gone through the roof. So I'm very thrifty. I'll say that. Like, I don't go out and buy new furniture. When I go to look for something, I will look on Marketplace, or like we've got a beautiful green leather recliner. It's gorgeous. Somebody just put it out because they got new furniture. My husband saw that on the side of the road. He picked that thing up, and it is gorgeous. And I looked it up, and that chair is worth like $400. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So I love to, and people picking on Miss Daisy about that dumpster diving. Let me tell you something. I used to do that when I was more able. I would, if I could get my behind over into a dumpster right now, my butt would be there every day looking whenever they put stuff out, because you can find some really brand new stuff, good stuff doing that. And you can even give it to other people that need things, like make little goodie bags up and give to people, like Bath and Beyond or Bath and Body Works. Oh my gosh, that's the place to get behind, to get to look at this stuff, because they put out stuff like when they change their seasons out and stuff like that. They'll take and put that stuff out back, and it'll be in boxes. You can get boxes and boxes of their lotions and sprays and all kind of stuff. Yeah, Wendy, it is hard times. Chastity, I was raised in a holler in the Smoky Mountains, just like Summer, and ran around in the woods. Anything could have happened to me, but our neighbors were very sketchy and scary. Uh oh. Well, thank God nothing happened to you, Chastity, because um, I can see easily. Like, I don't understand how people say that they can't see how she could have got gone where she was. I'm like, I see how she could have gotten gone where she was. People, when they live out in the country like that, they do feel a little bit more secure, because you got a lot of land. You're up there in a mountainous area. Uh, my grandma, she's my great grandma was full blooded Cherokee, so she came from actually off the reservation until she married my granddaddy, and uh, up there they settled around Westminster area up there, but she came from Cherokee. But um, they like had 10 kids, and you could just let your kids run around and do whatever. But it's a different day and age. This meth problem that we have got in our country, and I know y'all have gotten it in Great Britain and the UK. I know that they've got it because I have watched some documentaries on the BBC. Um, and I literally feel that that is going to be the downfall. It's the drugs. It's going to be the downfall of our country and other countries, because it's an epidemic. That's the true pandemic. If you want my opinion, I think that these drugs, this fentanyl and all these drugs they're bringing in, and some are synthetic now, so it doesn't even show up on drug tests, and it's like a tranquilizer, and they put it in stuff, and people are just dying right and left. Oh yeah, that would be great to do a Bible study. Maybe we should plan that. Um, because I think that that would be a great thing because everybody has different. I mean, okay, the Bible is the inspired word of God. That's just what I believe. Everything in it's true. Now, that being said, if we look at even the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, if we look at the Gospels, if we look at what they say, like they all have the same meat, the same subject, but it's from the different viewpoint of each person. And there's little differences in each one. It's kind of like I've always explained it like this. It would be like if, okay, imagine there's a traffic accident and there's four corners, or four areas, that people are standing in, and the police comes and says, "What happened?" Well, depending on the viewpoint or the vantage point that you're standing at, you're going to see the same accident. It's going to be the same meat of what happened, but it may be a little different depending on the perspective of the person, giving the officer the details of what they saw. And that's kind of how I see that with the Bible. Chastity said there was a lot of scary people around their land, a lot of strangers coming to look at land. Yes, there was that other person that was back there. That what was his name? Jackie something. He's another one that's still on my radar because I know that JSB ran him off there or whatever. Uh, and she wanted that land all around there. I think she got in it with Candace and Don too about the land, and she didn't even own any of it. And here she is not living on none of it. You know, is Lady Seven Up still in here? If she is, we love you. We love you, and I hope you have a good day if you leave. Um, but I think that I'll put a link out if anybody does anybody want to come up and talk about a couple of these things. I know some people are very timid and they're afraid to get up and say things. But if you don't mind, yes, Dobbs was high on my radar as well. Yes, the Facebook. Did you see that last picture? Because I copied it. And my computer went out, so I've got to find some way to get this stuff off my computer, my other computer. But I took a bunch of pictures. That last picture where I think he was in North Carolina, and it showed this patch, okay, this garden, and I don't know. There was something about that picture made me feel weird. Then he made a big deal about the fact he was up, and I looked at that hotel he went to where he was with his dog Elvis. Like I looked that up, looked at that hotel, looked at the rooms. Like when I say I've studied this, I mean I have taken some rabbit holes and some deep dives. I really have. So I'm not just like going along going, well, Candace is being nice to me, so I'm just going to think she's innocent. No, I put them through the ringer. I did. I put Don and Candace both through the ringer because I always, you always start with the parents. But I'm going to tell you right now, this little girl lived here in the where I'm living at, and y'all can look this case up. Her name is Faye Sweatlick. She was 5 or 6 years old, about the same age as Summer. And it was during school season. Her mama went to the bus and picked that child up. The bus got her own footage. So she wasn't the kind of mama that would just like, and it wasn't that far to the bus where the bus dropped her off. But her mama met her there every day. That to me says something about the mother, that actually she's a good mother or she's an attentive mother. Because some people just let their kids walk home by themselves or whatever from the bus stop, no matter how they are. I've seen it. Or walk home from school even young. But anyway, this little girl, They lived in townhomes in a neighborhood that has one way in and one way out of the neighborhood. And you go back in the neighborhood and it winds back around. And then you have these little townhome areas in like a little circle area. And so a townhome means that you have upstairs and a downstairs, but it was attached on one side. And then you have a little tiny bit of grass or garden area, grass area, and then there's another one. And then, there's two of them side by side, the same thing, and so on. And this is a subdivision also with houses. Now, this is in the middle of the day after school, like 3:30 in the afternoon, something 4 o'clock, something like that. And the little girl, Faye, she wanted a popsicle and she wanted to go and eat. Well, I guess they maybe told her to eat it on the porch because I know I was like that with my kids when they ate popsicles, those kind, that the long things and you cut the top off of it, or even other popsicles on the stick, they start to melt and get all over the place and make everything sticky. And it's just a little tiny front porch, a little where you could maybe put two chairs on. That's about it. And it's so close to right there where you're open to the den and the kitchen. You can see all the way through out the front window. And that little girl wasn't out there 10 minutes. I'm being very generous when I say 10 minutes eating that popsicle. She went out there and that little girl was gone. And there were other people outside even. Well, they call the police in, everything gets hyped up. And, at first, same thing. I'm going, okay, well, who does she live with? Who's around? The mom did have a boyfriend. Of course, I looked at him sideways. Um, I got, well, I actually got to meet the grandma or talk to the grandma a good bit. We kind of got to be, where we would talk and I would pray with her. But this was after the fact, after they found the little girl. And they found that little girl, and I told my husband what feeling I had, what happened. And I still think it is possibly what happened, but literally in broad daylight in a neighborhood, that little girl was snatched in under 5 or 10 minutes in the daytime. I'm talking when people are outside playing, people are coming home from work, all that kind of stuff. Well, it ended up turning out that it was the next door neighbor, the townhouse over, not the one attached to theirs, but the one where there's a little space of grass between them and the next one. And he was a college student. And the morning that little Faye was found, she was behind the Napa Auto between the townhouses and Napa Auto up on a highway. And I don't know. I just kept telling my husband I felt like she was going to be found that morning. And it was raining that morning, and I had been looking at the aerial map of that area and where the trees were and where there was any kind of a. I said I just feel like she's going to be found back here, and I'll be doggone. Sure enough, that's what happened. And he had unalived her. She was not with us anymore, and that makes me so sad. But I felt that from the beginning. But he went on the back porch of his townhouse and unalived himself and almost took his own head clear off. Seriously, it is crazy. Who would have ever thought something like that? That's why whenever I was looking at this case with little Summer, that kept creeping in the back of my mind because I remember thinking, well, this is weird. I mean, I don't think anybody could have took that little girl in the middle of the broad daylight. I said, but it is weird though that mama loved her so much that she would walk to the bus and make sure she picked her up and took her home. And she even had on rain boots that day because it had been raining a little bit earlier in the day. I don't know. I just feel like people judge so quickly and we forget, what if it is us? Because I know all of us have turned our heads for 5 minutes away from our children. And they don't even discriminate these days. They'll jerk them right in front of you. I've seen that. And on videos, on like closed circuit videos, people trying to grab kids out of people's hand in the store. I think Target was one of them that happened. People are crazy. They have gotten lost their daggone mind. Let's see, Sailor, do you know anything about the blue minivan that Candace mentioned? I don't. And I've heard her mention it once or twice, but I never found out anything about that. Or I need to go back and look at that actually. Or maybe I should, I don't know. I hate asking her questions because I feel like they've been asked so many questions. And I just know the shock that I was in whenever I lost my son. I can't imagine having no resolution to it. So I feel bad asking them, like, just, I guess it wouldn't hurt just in passing maybe. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Didn't um didn't Allie or somebody have a minivan? I thought I saw a picture with a minivan with about 4 or 5 kids standing behind it, was like the tailgate open on it. But I can't remember. Let's see. All the missing kids on this page. Then shaving all his hair off was so weird. Yeah. You talking about Dobbs? Chastity shaving his hair and his face. That's the thing. He put it on his Facebook about something about his neighbors. He made a comment about that, and then he shaved all of his hair off his face, like all of his beard, like to make him look different or something. It was weird. And he made a comment about how he was at this other hotel by the time Summer went missing. But it's like literally, I looked at. It's like a 30-minute drive tops from where uh, the hotel was where he went to from where that land is. So I still like, I hadn't taken him off my list. I hadn't. Had Christina on my mind a lot the last couple of days. We need to pray that God will show her. We need her on Summer's case. Who's Christina? Matthew? Or uh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who she is. Uh, Nay, I'm behind. LOL. I figured that's what happened. I'm glad you are doing better today. Yeah, I am doing better today, Nay. I got rid of that headache. My blood pressure came down, and I feel a lot better today. Yeah, Dobbs, Chastity, same thing. Oh, Christine. Yeah, she does have a lot of good things, and that's another thing. Oh my gosh, people picking on her, that makes me so mad. She's got the sweetest heart, and she has such a good soul. I can tell that about people, I really can. And I'm just saying, like, when I see these other creators attacking people that I know are good people and they have a good heart, and these people are just wicked, and they always try to stir the pot and try to, like, that's how, I guess that's how they get all their views. Because if you look, even on regular TV, look how our regular TV is gone. You can't find anything on there but a bunch of junk and drama. That's why all those housewife shows are so popular, because it's nothing but a constant bunch of chaos. And I'm not gonna lie and say I haven't watched it, because I have. Because it is. It's like, well, I'll be honest with you. In my case, I look at those housewife shows and I'm like, I thank God for my own life. I really do. Like, you think money will make you happy, and you look at those shows and you realize not at all. Not at all. They are some of the most miserable people I've ever seen in my life. I'll be poor and happy, thank you. She's always, yeah. Oh, you, Christine, I know who you're talking about now. I wasn't sure at first who you were talking about. It said Christina, so I wasn't sure 100%. But yeah, the Christine, she looks so young too. Oh my gosh, when she told me she was like 50 or right at that age, I about passed out. She looks so young, and she is beautiful and so soft spoken, and she has raised some great kids. It sounds like, I think she's so. And somebody tried to get her fired from her job, y'all. I don't like people who go real life on other people. I don't like that. I mean, this, we're all on here just talking about our own opinions about things, and oh my gosh, just to take it to that level, I can't even imagine. That is like seriously somebody looking for some content is all I can say if they go after Miss Christine like that, because she is literally one of the kindest, sweetest people. And everybody up there on Miss Daisy's panel is like that. Miss Daisy's like that. I love Miss Daisy. I love Jinkies. I love Miss Sherry. I love Christine. I love everybody over in that channel, in the the what do you call it, the chat. I really do, and I have met some of the best people, and most of y'all have found your way over here too. I like it because it just seems like it's not so much hate. The only thing Miss Daisy will do is take up for other people or take up, you know what I'm saying? And she'll get a little upset sometimes and she'll, you know, like she did that other night. But I can understand, it was a heated situation. And Jinkies, I do feel like she did the right thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just call it out. I texted Jinkies when that was going on and I was like, ooh, I might cut this. I can't even remember how I said it, but I knew that he was in a bad place. I could tell. I could just feel the energy that he was in a bad place. Like, I don't mean like a psychic kind of thing. I meant like just a spiritual discernment type of thing. That something, I think some kind of news or something had happened and something was going on. And then he just got really overly, and I know how I am. Listen, once I start flying off the handle, it is hard to reel myself back in. Now, I don't spread the N word or anything like that, and I don't condone that. But I'm just saying, I could tell there was something a little extra going on that night, and there was a lot of things going on. Like it was a full moon, and there was some other things going on. People were, some people were like, I didn't even. I had a weird, funky feeling that day, that same day, and another one of my mods, she texted me. I'm not gonna say who, but she texted me. She had had a hard day that day, so I was just like, "What?" And then I noticed it was a full moon, and there was some other things going on. I was like, "Okay." I think there's some spiritual stuff going on in the atmosphere. If you notice, most every program that is reality TV or has cameras in their face, that family usually is divided by the time it's over with. Yes, Matthew, you're exactly right. How about that one guy on the Beverly Hills Housewife? Like he was beating his wife. Well, that was the thing they kept trying to talk to her about. That Taylor was her name, I think. That was one of the earlier seasons because I used to watch it a lot. Um, and he ended up unaliving himself. And I just wonder if it was for some of the flack he was catching from that show. Like, it's not good if he beat his wife or anything. I'm not saying that. But a divorce probably would have been a better situation instead of that. Because they had a little girl, too. That was sad. Um, I agree. I was looking at her video yesterday, and she is flawless on her face. No wrinkles. She's such a beautiful woman. Yes, she is. She really is. And you can look at somebody's face and tell if they've got a soft, appearance about them or a hard appearance about them. In other words, you could tell some people have lived a hard life by looking at them. Seriously, you can because it just wears on them and it wears on their face. And then, you can tell when somebody else, may just be a little bit more, I don't know, innocent, I guess, maybe is the word. I'm not saying like she's innocent, you know what I'm saying, like um naive or anything like that. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like they're maybe they just hadn't been through quite as much. And that's another thing. Like I'm not saying she hadn't been through stuff because I know that she has. She's raised children and she did that on her own and she's had a lot. She works. She takes care of her grandma. She does a lot of stuff. I think she's a pretty awesome person, honestly. And that's what makes me mad when people go after people that actually are trying hard to do the right thing. And then it always usually comes from somebody who is doing nothing with their life. Absolutely nothing. And that's just the way it is. Because people that are miserable want to point their finger at somebody else to make themselves feel better. And you don't have to blow somebody else's candle out to make yours shine brighter. That's what I always tell my children. I'm like, you know what? Everybody can shine in their own way. But Chastity said, Matthew, I agree. Most get divorced and everyone ends up in drama and chaos. Yeah, they do. Even the Duggars. I mean, seriously. Well, their son Josh, um, he did some stuff when he was a kid, but he was a kid. And usually, and that was also around the time the camera crews and all that, they started filming. And when you've got so many children and you've got boys and girls, and then they're homeschooled, and I think all those things are good, and I'm thankful for the Duggars because, like I said, I didn't grow up Christian, and a lot of the ways that they did things, not everything, but some of the way that they did things, I actually watched that to learn how to be a better parent. I'm glad they were on the air, but I do feel like that they fell into some things that they might not have had they not been messing with Hollywood. I'll say that, especially their son. And still to this day, it's weird to me. There's a creator that just constantly, it's kind of like the way that PG does with like Don and them, or even Miss Daisy, or whoever she has her sights on at the time. And she's been, I think, a little bit better. Miss Daisy said last night she's been doing a little better, so I hope so. I'm praying for her. I really want her to do better. Um, but uh, okay, so I don't know if anybody knows about the case with Josh Duggar. Supposedly, uh, the Homeland Security found CP on his work computer. Okay, but he had a Linux. I think it was called a Linux. Um, where it had is something. Oh, okay. He and his wife had, because he had admitted he had had some trouble watching PORN, adult, PORN, which is not good either. But he had had trouble with that. Okay, which a lot of people in church do. Don't let people in church lie and fool you. There is way more of that going on than you could ever imagine. I know because I've worked on the prayer team, and I'm just going to tell you that we find out things. I would never tell who or what, anything like that, or divulge anybody, but I'm just saying as an overall thing, that is a real thing. The enemy is real, and he has many devices, okay? And so with men, eyes are the window to, your soul. And unfortunately, when people start looking at P, it can cause some problems. So when Josh got the job in Washington, and he and his wife Anna and the kids moved to the Washington area, that I think they ended up living in Maryland right there beside there because the price in Washington was way too high. But anyway, all that to say is he ended up meeting a dancer who is also a P star, okay, and does PORN, if you know what I mean, as an adult. And he paid her one night because they were at a strip club or whatever. Okay, so then after all this stuff comes out, of course, she comes out for her 5 seconds of fame saying, oh, yeah, well, he roughed me up. Well, why didn't you come out and say that before this came out, is what I'm saying. It was only after this other stuff came out. So Oprah Winfrey, who I'm sorry, but I don't particularly care for her. I've looked into her and all of her organizations. She's not the person she claims to be. I used to love to watch Oprah, but now I know the truth. So it's hard to look at her in the same way. And the trafficking that was going on around her girls' school in Africa, I'm just going to say there's a lot going on there. And just do your research. I'll do another Wake Up Wednesday maybe and come out with some of this other stuff. But a lot of that stuff gets taken down. YouTube will take it down. They don't want the truth out. And I mean, I have receipts too. I don't mean I'm just saying this stuff. Uh oh, Tracy made it back. Yay! Yeah, I used to watch it all the time, Tracy. And like I said, I think Michelle was a good mama, and I think that she had a lot of good techniques. And especially, I like the fact that she didn't like always scream at her kids, and she just seemed to have a lot of patience. And even the boy who I'm fixing to talk about with this situation with the CP, okay, he is another family that was raised in the same, type thing, type, faith that they have, that the Duggars have. And this particular person is also somebody who Katie Joy, who is the person I'm talking about, that goes after them all the time. That's like what she has made her whole living off of. And she was friends with this particular boy. His name is Caleb Williams. I think his last name is Williams. Um, and anyway, he has stayed with the Duggars many times, but he has SA charges on him. Okay, let's just say that. Okay, now I'm not 100% sure what for. It could be just a girl that was a little bit younger than him. I'm not sure, but he also, I think, came out in the homosexual community or the gay community, which is fine. But it's hard whenever, I guess, you grow up like that, because they might not accept it, I guess, as much, and you might have a hard time. But anyway, so this Katie Joy is calling him and talking to him, trying to get information out of him. And then all of a sudden, now this woman actually goes far and wide to try to bring people down. And yeah, she does not like that. She doesn't like hardly anybody at all. But her husband, Toad is what I call him. His name is Todd. But he is very, very male chauvinistic. And she acts like she is just this progressive person and all this kind of stuff. But her husband is very chauvinistic. She actually went to church for several years, and she said it was a cult. And it sounds like a church, like a regular old church like I go to. But she always finds something wrong with everything. And I said, well, if these people did not try to track you down and bring you back and hold you against your will to go to that church, it's probably not a cult. Because she thinks everything is a cult, literally. But this Caleb guy came down the weekend that this CP was downloaded on Josh's computer. And he had this Covenant Eyes with his computers, all of his devices, because including his one at work, because he was looking at PORN. Okay. And so I know he's talked computers with this particular guy before, and this guy was indeed there. And they even brought it up at the end of the trial. But, and I'm not taking up for him, because if Josh did that, and if he did download that, shame on him, and I hope he stays in there longer than he's supposed to. But if he didn't, then I hope that comes out too, because it seems like the perfect setup to me. Because this is my thing. Why, if he took the time to put in a whole split to, download, it had to be a USB that was downloaded into his computer. And why was it not watched? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if he downloaded CP, there was only one thing that was downloaded, okay? One video. And this particular creator watched the video. It was on the dark web, and she watched it. I'm going to be honest with you. That alone is disturbing, because even the name of it, I'm not going to say it because it makes me want to vomit to say the name of it. But the fact that she could even sit there and watch that worries me. And I will, because it is very disturbing. And Matthew, it is very disturbing. And she, I just wonder, did she pay Caleb to go and download this on Josh's computer? Because she started talking about this before they ever even got searched by Homeland Security. She started bringing this out and talking about it. And I'm like, how did you know that that was going to happen, Katie and Joy? That's what her name is KJ, and her middle name is supposedly Joy, but there's nothing joyful about her at all. And I only say these things about people who are just so hateful and just go after people that have not done anything, like the Duggars. Like they, okay, you may not believe in the same beliefs they have, and she hates it when those girls don't go grow up and rebel. And even when they do, if they start wearing, if they have worn jeans, oh, and they're married, mind you, and they have their own children. Oh, well, so and so has gone against Jim Bob's rules. They're wearing pants, they're doing this, they're doing that. These are grown women with they're married with children. They can do what they want to do. We all have rules for our own house when our children are young and they're growing up. But once they grow up and move out, then that's up to them and their husband how they decide to live, you know? And it just, people who twist the truth like that makes me so angry. Chastity said, I love the Duggars. All I watch is reality TV. LOL. Me too. Well, this other TV is so junky now. Even some of the reality TV, and I try to watch the stuff that is like the Duggars because it's something you can watch with your kids in the room with you. Like, it's hard to watch TV anymore, like regular TV, unless you're watching some of the old stuff, like Andy Griffith or, the old stuff that used to be on. And I love the Golden Girls. I'm not gonna lie, I do love them, and I used to watch them when they were even first coming out, when they were in the '80s. But I was really young then, so some of them jokes went over my head. But now I get them, so it's really funny. Um, it is SMW. Lisa, are you asking for my email? It's smw1970.sw at gmail, not AOL. That's old. That was my old one. At gmail.com. So it's smw1970.sw at gmail.com. And Rowan is usually in here and she'll put that down, but she hadn't been in here. Well, right now, where we're talking about the Duggars, we were talking about a particular creator who goes after them all the time. In fact, she went after Jessa Duggar after she had a miscarriage. Well, the baby passed away while she was pregnant. She was 12 weeks pregnant, so she was going into her second trimester. And they had to unfortunately do surgery on her to make sure, everything was taken out because the baby had passed away. And she was begging and crying and begging them to please do another ultrasound just to make sure there was no heartbeat and all that stuff. She really had a hard time with that. And then that other creator, that KJ, turned it into saying that she had an abortion. And I'm just like, what? That is disgusting. Like, no, she didn't. She lost her baby. It's maybe the same DNC procedure, but it's not the same intent. That's two totally different things. And oh my gosh, when people do that kind of stuff and twist real life around like that, it just makes me see red and I can't help myself. And I will make a video and I will address it. And I have two on here that I've addressed to KJ, and I think I've got two that I've addressed to PG. What's it with these initials? What's with these initials? Whoever's got a channel with initials, be wary. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There's probably a lot with initials. They're okay. But these two particular ones, I don't know. There's something. Did you get that, Lisa? Did you get it down? Um, and I'll drop a link if any of you want to come up here if you have anything to say. Um, oh, blow on that. If you've got any testimonies or if you've got anything to say about what we've been talking about, what your opinion is about these creators coming after the Wells or the Duggars or anybody like that. Like, in other words, kicking people when they're down. I don't like when people do that. And even I laid off of PG whenever her daughter was in surgery, and I prayed for her and her daughter. Um, and another thing is, I do go after traffickers on here, and I go after people that are harming children. And I have had several videos taken down by YouTube that said I was harassing and bullying. One of them that they took down was a dream. I put a video about that up the other day. I couldn't read out what it said because they would just strike that too. But um, then another one I put out, it was literally about these people in high places and proof of the stuff that they're doing to children. And they gave me a strike, and I was in restriction for a week. I was in YouTube jail because they said that I was harassing or bullying. And literally, there is not one person in that video that I said anything about or harassed or bullied. It was literally about the Finders cult and about these other people who go out and kidnap and traffic children. And I got a strike for that and under bullying and harassment. And so my thing is, it says you can, what do you call it? You can come against it. You can, whatever you call it, um, dispute it. And I did dispute it. I was like, I want to know who I'm bullying and harassing, because this is just a educational video to let people be aware of the dangers that are out there with children. And they didn't even answer me back. They just said it stood. And I was I was in YouTube jail for 7 days. And literally, there is not one person on that video. I never even like said who it was. I just actually showed the different clippings of different things. That's it. And I was just like, wow. You don't know the Duggars, Wendy? Have you never heard of them? Well, if you're in Great Britain, I'll tell you. Okay, have you ever watched that family in Britain? I'm trying to think of their last names because I watch them a lot too. They own they make pies, and they've got like 20 something kids. They're called Britain's largest family. And I'm trying to think of their last names. The dad and the daughter like make all these custom pies, like not necessarily pies like peach pie stuff. It's like, I think over there they eat different, and it's like, chicken pot pies and different kind of pies like that. What a beautiful place to be, Selah. Chat and friends. I know, that's what I say. That's how I like it. I don't like all that drama. And I love that family too, actually. And I wish I could remember their name. It's on YouTube a lot, and it's called Britain's Biggest Family. I think is how you can look it up. And I wish I could remember their last name. Is it the Neils? Their last name might be Neil. Um, but I just love to watch them. And the Radcliffes, that's it, the Radcliffes. It just came to me. They have got the best family, and listen, they don't have the same Christian beliefs necessarily like the Duggars do, but they have a huge family like the Duggars. And the Duggars are just a little more very conservative. They're on the very conservative Christian side, I'll say that. But I do love the Radcliffes, that family. I just love to watch the way that people manage that many children, because, like I said, I had four, and the first three were all a year apart, and then 14 years later we had our last one, and then we had one more after that. But the same thing happened to me at 12 weeks. They had to do surgery because it was an ectopic pregnancy, and actually it ruptured my tube, and I almost died. We didn't know. And it's just sad to me for somebody to twist something like that around on somebody, especially when you're pro life. And the Duggars are very, very pro-life like I am. And so I'm not telling other people what they've got to believe or not believe. I'm just saying for me, because of what I went through as a child or a young teenager, what my parents did. And I love them and I forgive them and they're in heaven. But, it did hurt me, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And I think that was the one thing that the enemy really tried to take me out with was that abortion that my parents forced me into having. And, and it about did, honestly, for several years. And when I got pregnant kind of again on purpose at 17 because I did not want to leave and go to New York and model, which was where I was headed. And I feel like my daughter saved my life because there's so much into that people don't understand. And by the hair of my head, I feel like literally the Lord spared my life from that, which would have been horrible. I personally believe that. I've had friends that have gone that did end up going to model, and I have people that I was in pageants with that went and did things like that, and I don't know, their life just seemed to take a wrong turn, and I think they went through some horrible things that I am so thankful that I was spared and did not have to go into. So I would have rather been a young mom because that's what I always wanted to do anyway than to go and model in New York because here's what scared me. They wanted me to come to New York um, that summer when school let out in 1980. Was it 7 or 88? I'm trying to think. I think it was 87. And I was 17, 16 or 17 at this time. Whenever I think I just turned 17, like by a month or two. But yeah, I got all these different callbacks from like Elite, Eileen Ford, Wilhelmina, John Casablanca. I think that's Elite though. A couple of them have merged since then. And anyway, so I had pretty much a choice of like who I was going to go sign with, and I was going to go that summer. And you stay in a room. It's called a model dorm, is what it's called, but it's an apartment, is what it is, and it's where all the new models that are young like that they come in, and they stay there, and like you share a room with another model, and then there's like 4 rooms. And then they have a house mother, so your parents aren't allowed to come. And the only thing I could think about is like that Ghislaine Maxwell. That would be like a house mother, if you know what I'm saying, because they do. Not all the girls, because some of the girls end up leaving, but they do use a lot of models sometimes as um, trading services, if you know what I mean. Yes, Radfords. Yeah. Do you like them, Wendy? You like to watch them? I love to watch them. I think they have it. I mean, I can tell how that would be chaotic. I can, but they'll never have to worry about an empty nest. I don't think. Imagine having that many kids. How many grandkids you would have? Oh my gosh, that would be like whoa. That would be overwhelming. I don't know how they do it. I really don't, because that is a lot. It is a lot. Well, well, I was gonna play this song when I first came on, but I didn't do it. So I'm gonna play it now. So if they knock us off, I don't think they will because this rare breed, he's an independent artist, and his music is just like got me through so much of the stuff that I've been going through, and it's not just the death of my son; it's other stuff. Like I said, there are so many things going on these days. I'm sorry, I'm walking up, but I'm gonna play this song and tell me if y'all like it. She said Chassie's glad she had hers at a young age. She was 16, but already had raised her sister running the house. Yeah, that's the same as me. That's how I think I was a good mom, even though I was a bit older. I mean, a bit younger than a lot of people. Same. So let's see. I'm gonna look up here, and we're gonna put this up here. And tell me what y'all think of this person when we watch it. And tell me what you think of this music. It really is very inspiring. That's what I'll say. And there's so many good ones. It's like you can't find one bad one. Let's see. I think I played that one the other day. Let's do this one. I don't think I've heard of this one yet.
I know, yeah, 'cause I know, yeah. I know how it feels in the struggle when you just trying to get by. At the point of quitting but didn't cause the devil's alive. Fight for my family daily, I'ma give them all that I got. I hit my knees in prayer when I need some peace in my mind. God made a promise I'll make it if I just give it some time. I'm here to bring somebody hope, it just so happened it rhymes. See, everything we ever wanted that we search for in life can only be fulfilled when we surrender to Christ. I'm here to tell you you're worth it and you got something to give. You got purpose upon your life and you got reason to live. Don't give up, don't give in, just put your trust in the plan. If you don't feel it now, remember that it's all in His hands. Learn to forgive each other daily, don't be holding that grudge. There's freedom in it, you just gotta overcome it with love. Cause I know how it feels, that's the reason I speak it. I've been through it, I understand, and I know it's all for a reason. I know how it feels, fighting hard every day just to make it through. Cause I know how it feels when you've heard those lies and all you want is truth. I gotta keep it real, give it all to God and He will make it new. I know how it feels, I know how it feels. I know the feeling of these bills when that money gets low. I also know that God will give me everything. I know I'm about to get hope. I know it's tough to keep the faith, but we just gotta believe. I'm thankful I woke up this morning, gotta cherish a moment. I know I'm made in His image, He gave me gifts and I'm chosen. We all got a calling, it will never be easy. Just know the purpose He gave you has got you here for a reason. We gotta keep pushing on and on. There's some people out here counting on you to make it home. And you are loved, I hope you see, I hope you know. We gotta keep pushing on and on. There's some people out here counting on you to make it home. And you are loved, I hope you see, I hope you know. I know how it feels, fighting hard every day just to make it through. Cause I know how it feels when you've heard those lies and all you want is truth. I gotta keep it real, give it all to God and He will make it new. I know how it feels, I know how it feels.
Oh, well, there I am. I'm sorry. I muted myself so that nothing would interfere with the music. So, y'all like that? Because I love every single thing that he does. Because it all, I can identify with all of it. Not just with the death of my son, but other stuff, like just other things you're going through. And even what we were talking about earlier about how it, um, how we're all going through different things. It may not be the same, same thing, but that doesn't mean it doesn't feel just as real to every single person, no matter what we're going through. It's hard. Tracy, yes, I love that song. I think it's wonderful. I love it. And he also, if you because I wrote a little title under the song that he released the other day that I played, and he actually wrote me back. So he is a very personal kind of artist, kind of like a Christian version of Upchurch, I guess, maybe. Not saying that Upchurch isn't a Christian, I don't know that, but I'm just saying, with a message like that. So, would y'all like to hear another one? Because I don't think I'll get a strike for this unless somebody does something mean and tries to just come against it and they shut it off before they know. But I don't think I'll get a copyright because he's actually trying to, get his name out there. And I told him, I said, I share your stuff on every social media platform I've got because I think more people need to hear it because he is so good. And I've never found not one song of his that was bad, not one. So that is the sign of a true artist. And God gave him this talent for sure because his life ain't always been easy. And he'll tell you that. He's got a pretty good testimony. Let's see what we got. Mm, we'll go back and see. Because I think what I was trying to say, and I was on mute, I think music is such good therapy. If you listen to music, there's so much emotions involved in music, and it does matter if you listen to things, that are positive and uplifting. It can bring your mood up in a minute. I know that's what I do a lot of times when I'm feeling bad or I'm feeling, like I'm just having a bad day. A lot of times I will just listen to music like this, and by the time I'm done, I feel so much better. But then you can also be in one of those moods where you're sad and you just want to cry and you need to cry. So then you play that kind of music that makes you cry. And a couple of his songs are like that. They do make you cry. And also, if you listen to music while holding your pet, like a cat or a dog, or any kind of animal that will let you pet them, that is great therapy too. And talking to friends like we're doing right now. I feel like that those are some of the best things to keep us in our right frame of mind, especially, with all this new world we're living in where everything has changed and so different. There's such a lack of personal connection. It's computers on the phone. You can't get to talk to anybody, even in customer service. Some old people, they live for talking to customer service because that's all they had to talk to. But now all you can get is the recording. Oh, yeah, Tracy, that is me too. A good car ride with music, yes, alone. And the music turned up as high as you can go, and you screaming and singing as loud as you can go. That's how I feel about Post Malone. LOL. He's not got one bad song. Music is my healing. I love Posty so much. I've been to see him every year for the last 4 years. Wow. She named she said Posty Hangouts. That's great. Chastity, that's great. Yeah, I was worried about, I think Post Malone dated Khloe Kardashian for a little while. I was kind of worried because usually the men that date those girls don't end up too well. So I was hoping because he seemed like a really genuine guy. I was hoping he got out of that situation. Matthews says, listening and cleaning. Oh, I wish I could clean. I miss cleaning so much. That is a really rare thing for people to love to clean up. But actually, I'm one of those people. I love to clean and rearrange furniture, to get everything clean and vacuum behind all the stuff. Like, I love that because I love the smell of it afterwards. I just like to sit back and look at my house knowing I cleaned it. And when my husband comes home, it makes me feel good. And, I can't do it right now. So it's like I've got a lot of nervous energy and I've got to get my health back because I have got to get my butt up and I've got to get able to clean like I'm used to cleaning because this is for the birds, especially because I'm OCD. So if I even see a pillow, like, how you have to open the door pillows on your couches. If somebody sits there and just throws it across the couch, and I'm sitting across the room and looking at it, it drives me absolutely nuts. I have to get up and put it back over there. So that does not do well with somebody that can't get up and clean like they used to. It's terrible. Tracy says she's always reorganizing her cabinets, fridge, and freezer. I know. I love to do that and organize it where it's all nice and you can find everything. Oh, mine in there is a mess. My husband's been putting everything up in there. And bless his heart, he does do as much as he can and does as good as he can. But you know how men are. They'll just throw anything up in the cabinets, and you got plates and cups mixed together on the same shelf. And that drives me nuts. So sometimes when I feel a little bit, like I have a little bit of energy, I'll go in there and prop myself up and just kind of move everything around where it's supposed to be, hoping he'll catch on. Chastity, he's an amazing human. Yeah, I think he's a really good guy too. Well, we're going to go ahead and listen to another one. Let's just see. Because I think that this helps a lot of people. Music does. Whenever it's positive. Am I crackling? It might be the room I went to. Hold on. I'm fixing to be out of here. Where am I at? Oh, there it is. Smaller. No, we just did one. We just did that. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, and another in the fire. Oh, man. I'm trying to decide which one to do. Okay, let's do God Knows first. Let's see. Have y'all already heard When You Don't Understand? I can't remember. Let's do this one. This is actually a worship song. Another in the fire, but he remixed it. So I love this.
There's a grace when the heart is under fire. Another way when the walls are closing in. And when I look at the space between where I used to be and this reckoning, I know I will never be alone. There was another in the fire, standing next to me. There was another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminded of how I've been set free, there is a cross that bears a burden, where another died for me. There is another in the fire.
He's standing with me in this moment. He's walking with me through the fire. When all of the pieces are broken, he put me back together knowing it's higher. Depression will not take a hold. I rebuke it. I know that the devil's a liar. I'm praying for peace in this nation. I know that you're worried, you're weary and tired. I can hear it coming. He will bring relief. At the foot of the cross, I will hit my knees. We'll do this together. Ain't no team. Just surrender it all, let him set you free. Living water, let him flow in me. Just be a vessel, let him take you deep. Commit all your ways to the Father, that there is a promise. He said that we will succeed. He knows what you're going through, sees every problem, and has a solution to fix it all. The fire inside will arise. The grip of the shackles that hold us will finally fall. Finally fall. Deliverance for everyone who believes.
There is another in the fire, standing next to me. There is another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need a reminder, what power set me free? There is a grave that holds nobody, and now that power lives in me. There is another in the fire,
He's got us, man. The veil is torn, he's available. No matter the struggle, he's capable. I've been through the fire and came out unscathed. The hardest of times were unfavorable, but he didn't forget me even when I felt like my prayers were going unanswered. He heard every word, he ordered my steps. The life of my soul, he's my lane, and I've been at the bottom. The kind of place where you look up and you gotta keep climbing, knowing he's got you. That is a primary sin I committed for God. And yeah, you're not alone, he's right there. He's got us covered, just believe it. There was another
in the fire, standing next to me. There was another in the world, holding the seas. Should I ever name mine of how I've been set free? There is a cross that bears it by, where another died for me. There is another in the fire. Come on. Oh, there is another in the fire. Oh.
Let go.
Yeah, you always hear that letting go is the hardest thing to do. But when you get in a position and you know you can't do it on your own, you have to.
I went from sleeping on the couch, being homeless in food banks. And if you in that situation, my advice is do pray. Cause when you cry to God for help, he'll hear you. Just open Psalms, but you have to let him in and surrender like open palms. Oh Lord, they say it's dope, but do we really get the message? Are we craving a relationship or in this for the blessings? Just think, I had to ask myself that very same question. Don't get too prideful for advice, don't get too wise for a lesson. It's going down like recessions, we have to lift him up higher. We have to yearn for his presence, we have to burn with desire to serve, to love, have self-control with our words. Being filled with the Holy Spirit's more than striking some nerves. It's just conviction unless we're willing to ask for the help. I write this down cause I'm struggling too, I need it myself. I look up and trust God because I made the mistake of trying to tote those heavy burdens. Just let go of that weight and give it up. Give it up, give it all up now. Pray and believe it'll all work out. Give it up, give it all up now. Let go and give it all away. Give it up, give it all up now. Pray and believe it'll all work out. Give it up, give it all up now. Let go. Just let go.
Yeah,
give it all away.
I'd have been backstabbed and hurt by those I thought I could trust. The depth of my aching wounds became a cast and a crush. When love was trying to get in, I was picking fights to fuss, projecting my own issues, rejecting help to get up. Holding on to that stone attached to that rusty chain, keeping what don't belong. I was thinking it kept me sane. When my parents got a divorce, baby sister died from a cancer. I would pray for an answer, but never trust when it came. But what happens when what you holding on only holds you down? And when you on your knees, you below the ground. Ain't it crazy how it sounds in your silence when your mind talks louder than 9 police sirens? If you dare and can't relate, I wrote this just for you. And declare the peace of God from heaven over you. May he remove the heavy burdens on your shoulders too. Today decide to let it go and rise above that tomb. Give it up.
Give it up, give it all up now. Pray and believe it'll all work out. Give it up, give it all up now. Let go and give it all away. Give it up, give it all up now. Pray and believe it'll all work out. Give it up, give it all up now. Let go. Just let go. And give it all away. Give it up, give it all up now. Pray and believe it'll all work out. Give it up, give it all up now. Let go and give it all away. Give it up, give it all up now. Pray and believe it'll all work out. Give it up, give it all up now. Let go and give it all away. Let go.
Again, I was muted again. Sorry. What do y'all think? Okay. From 1 to 10, what do y'all think of this artist so far with what I've said? Hey, Miss Sherry. Sister Sherry, what do y'all think? I just think those are such uplifting words. And like Miss Sherry said, let the music, let the words minister to you. God does work it out, Tracy. He really does. Chastity music, I'm the same way. Music is everything to me too. Like I literally can't do anything without music. No matter where I go, where I'm at, I got to have music. Yeah, they are moving words. Yes, Chastity. You've got to add him to your playlist because there is even some of his music that's even better than those. I mean, seriously, it just gets better. Every one I hear is better and better. And he has just got and literally he will, if you write to him under like his um songs or whatever, like he texted me back within a day. He put a heart, like one of those heart things on what I wrote, and he wrote me back because I told him about, that his music has inspired me so much since losing my son, and I'm just so thankful for his music that I found it. God knows what we need when we need it. And he wrote me back, and he was so sweet. And that's why I'm really spreading his music, because I think that, like, I think he's better than most secular rap artists, to be honest with you. I really do. And some of the ones where I can't even get the words out. Like I used to listen to Eminem. I'm not gonna lie. Like I used to love Eminem when he first came out. And I mean, I know that I could rap that fast, and even in the Beastie Boy days, like I could rap like for real. And I'm telling you, some of his music I cannot keep up with the words. I can't. Yeah, I do too. Sherry, I believe that God speaks to us in music also, and it doesn't have to be even a Christian song. Listen, there's a song that kept coming back to my mind over and over, and it's an old song. And it came to me one day. I was listening. Well, two songs. Well, three songs actually. This happens a lot, and a lot of them are secular songs. They really are. But I know God is still speaking to me. And one of them was that song called "The Sound of Silence." Do y'all remember that song? The Sound of Silence. That's an old song, but wow. When I went back and listened to it from a different perspective, even though I know it's a secular song, I was blown away. And that song by REM is "The End of the World." I think it's no, or is it Green Day? Yes, I think Green Day sings it. It's the end of the world as we know it. Those lyrics, y'all. From when that song was written, if y'all heard those lyrics, it is like it'll blow your mind. It will literally blow your mind, because I'm gonna look it up right now. Um, oh, I love Eminem. I used to love Eminem. I don't listen to him so much these days because he's sold out. But um, to the horn God. But let's see. Let me get those lyrics to. I remember the one of my favorite songs. Me and my friend used to go around when it first came out is to Trailer Park Girls go around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. You know that one. And then the one with Michael Jackson. That one was funny. But let me see if I can find these words to this song, because I'm gonna read to you what year it was put out. Okay. Um, I'm gonna try to play it on a slow, where it's slower, because it's already so fast, and they might not strike me, or I'll put the words up there or something. Y'all, this is crazy. The end of the world as we know it. And I'm gonna tell you, when the Lord told me to look at the song and look it up, and He reminded me of it just out of the blue, and it was in 2019, right before the old vid hit, right before the virus hit us. And the lyrics are just like, whoa. Okay, I'm just gonna read them to you because I don't want to get in trouble and get no strikes. Okay, But I'm just going to read these lyrics to y'all. I wish I could play it and not get a strike. And I wonder if I did it at a different speed, like slow, so you could see the words with the music. But I do not want to get a strike, not because I care about any copyright strikes. I really don't care about that. But we're critiquing this video, so maybe we won't. So if I cut it on slow, maybe, just maybe, they won't strike us. We're gonna go for it, okay? If they strike, I just have to jump off. Well, but it's crazy. And I'm gonna look up the year this. I think this song was written in the 80s. Okay, hold on, because I'm gonna do the playback speed slow because for one thing we'll be able to read it, and also I don't think they'll strike us if it's real slow. It's gonna be slow because these words are so fast when you play this normal speed. It's so much to. I sat down and wrote these lyrics down because I wanted to know every last one of them because it is like you are kidding me. And I want to see. Let's see. When was that written? Let's see. When was end of the world as we know it written? Because to me, that's just. It was written in 1987. Okay. It says the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine, is a song by American rock star band REM. Oh, it is by REM. Okay, I used to listen to them a lot, which first appeared on their 1987 album Document. So, okay, 1987. Now remember, the World Trade Centers did not go down until when? September the 11th of what year? So just remember that when we're listening to this, okay? But this is going to be like, whoa. Y'all are going to see this. Am I crackling again? I'm going in and out? Because I'm in my regular place. Let me go open my door. Maybe that'll help. Because I am in my bedroom and the door's shut. And I don't have my plug-in. That could be it. I don't want it to crackle on the end of the world as we know it. And let me plug in, see if it's doing better. Okay. Now tell me if this is better, okay? Is that better, y'all? Am I still crackling? I hope not. It might be because I have tabs open. Let me shut those. Am I still crackling? Okay, good. All right, now we're going to do this real slow, okay? Because this is... remember again what year this this was written in, okay? Good, it's better. I hope it stays that way because I don't want it to mess up on this. This is going to blow your mind. It really is. And I know y'all all have heard this song. If y'all are over 20 years of age, I think everybody's heard it. All right. Oh, the lyrics are right here on the side. Can y'all see that? Yeah, right there, but it might be too small to see it. You were singing that yesterday, Miss Sherry? You got to be kidding me. Well, that don't surprise me. We come up with so many things that are so similar. That does not surprise me one bit, Miss Sherry. Sister Sherry. Okay, let's do this. Big, so we can see the words. All right, now we're going to take a chance on it, okay? I'm not going to be able to see what y'all are typing because I'm on here and I'm going to have to make sure that, that y'all can read what the words are and if I have to stop it or anything. That may be a little bit too slow. Hold on. Let's go to 50%. Let's try that. But let's just look at this these first lyrics. That's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes, an airplane. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. Okay, let's go.
It's great, it starts with an earthquake, birds, snakes, an airplane. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I am a hurricane, listen to yourself, turn world, turn its own needs, dummy, serve your own needs, beat it up a notch, speed, grunt, no string, the ladder starts to clatter with fear, fight down, high wire and a fire, representatives have engaged in the government for hire and a combat side. Left to us and coming in a hurry with the furies beating down your neck. Team my team reporters baffle Trump, desert crop, look at that, no planes, fine.
Y'all, look at that for a minute. We're talking about 1987 here. And just let's break this up. Team by team. Reporters baffled. The next word, trumped. Trumped. Tethered, cropped. Look at that low plane. Fine, then fine.
Overflow, population common, put it up to save yourself, save yourself.
And again, the overpopulation thing that Bill Gates is pushing, and that's probably why I'll get a strike on this for mentioning these names. But I'm just saying, we all know what the truth is, and we're just gonna leave it at that.
World don't need to send me a heartbeat. Tell me who's the rapture and the reverend and the right. You patriotic, slam by, bright, light, feeling, pretty sight. It's the end of the world.
We know that part. So skip that so they won't strike me. Because these lyrics, I mean, they are so far ahead of their times. It's just insane.
Six o'clock, TV hour, don't get caught. Foreign tower, slash and burn, return. Listen to yourself, churn. Locking in uniform and book, burning blood, letting every motor escalate. Automotive incinerate. Light a candle, light a motor, step down. Watching heel, crush, this means no fear. Cavalier, renegade, steer clear. Tournament of lies.
What does this sound like, y'all? A tournament of lies. Offer me solutions, offer me alternatives, and I decline. Wow. I'm going to look at the chat just a minute while we're talking about this. What do y'all think? Yeah, Lenny Bruce is a comedian, an older comedian. What do y'all think about that? I just think that is a lot. To me, that is so much information. Don't get caught in foreign towers. And there's just so much in this. Oh, and that trumped. Like, I just find that a little coincidental that that was in there. And then this, it feels like a tournament of lies is what we've been going through. Offer me you know what I'm saying, with the population, you know what I'm saying, with the overpopulation, and then what they're trying to feed us. And then it says, offer me solutions, offer me alternatives, and I decline. To me, that's pretty Interesting. Let's see what else.
Solutions offer me alternatives and I decline. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world. Leonard burned. I drifted nice, continental drifted by mountain slid in a line.
Okay, I want to say something about that last this right here. The other night I dreamt of knives. Continental drift divide. Mountains sit in a line. Okay, I had I believe a prophetic dream. It's been years ago. Literally, though, I saw the United States, or what I thought was the United States. It could have been Africa because from far away, they kind of look similar. But I literally saw it looked like our map, our country was split from the bottom down at the Gulf Stream, kind of where Alabama, maybe around in that area, all the way up, straight up, all the way up to the Great Lakes. Okay. And it looked like, I don't know if an earthquake caused it, I don't know what caused it, but it literally looked like it was splitting apart and the continent was dividing, and the East Coast was like pulling away from the West Coast, and water from the Great Lakes from up the top and water from down below in the Gulf Stream was all filling in that big, huge chasm. And it looked like literally our country was just like torn apart. Now, I don't know if that was a metaphoric thing because we are divided big time. And this is, I think, before all that was going on. But I mean, it could mean an actual real thing because I've just heard lately scientists talking about that. And then the other day, I literally saw a picture where Africa is being split. It is splitting physically. Okay, yeah, you think Africa is dividing? Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I just saw that just the other day, and when I saw it, I was like, "Whoa, that's on here. It's on a dream way some back in all my videos, like from years ago. You can look it up and find it. It's there. I might have even talked about it more than once because it was so real, and I even heard the last time I think I had that dream. I think all this stuff was going on with the Abraham peace accord, and I think I heard God say something to the effect of, "If you divide my land, I'll divide yours." Now, I don't know exactly everything that entails or means, but I will just say that that is what is going on. And this song to me is Matthew, exactly what's going on right now. It feels like this song is like so far in advance. It makes you wonder, okay, because we know these people that are under, um, you know, what do you call it? These record labels. Like, okay, Prince. That's why he rebelled and changed his name to that symbol formerly known as Prince, because they were taking his creative artistry away and making him put certain songs out the way they wanted him to. See, when you make deals with the devil, basically, you have to put out a certain amount of their propaganda. And I'm just wondering, you know, if was their plan all along, because like we know from World War II, even they've had a plan for the New World Order and all that stuff. Here comes your conspiracy theorist, Justin, just for your pleasure, if you hear it. But anyway, I'm just saying that I believe that these are all plans. A lot of these things were plans, and it's just they've played out. Like people keep talking about um the Simpsons, right? Being able to know what is coming or whatever, and they like they predict like Prince's death and all that. That's not prediction. That's called pre-planning. There was no accident when Prince died. I'm just going to be honest with you. Call me a conspiracy theorist. Everything's a conspiracy theory until it's proved to be a conspiracy, right? All the JFK stuff, conspiracy theory. But is it a theory? I mean, it's a conspiracy. Let's just be honest. So, just like 911, people call people conspiracy theorists if they tell the truth about it. It is the truth. I am conservative, but the Bushes are not who you think they are. FYI, the Appalachian Mountains are the oldest mountains in the U.S. That's why they are rounded, unlike the western states. Oh, well, that's interesting, Miss Sherry. I didn't know that. Remember, the East was settled first. Yeah, that's where we came in at over here. I'm so sorry about Andrew Jackson. Forced them to walk to Oklahoma. What happens to Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill? Trail of Tears. Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I have looked into a little bit of the Trail of Tears because my great grandma being a full blooded Cherokee Indian, and that stuff is hard. It's very hard to listen to. It really is. I know it's important to know about it, but sometimes it is a little bit hard, if you know what I'm saying. To some things are, I don't know. I feel like God allows us, like the stuff that He's shown me about all these children being trafficked and all this bad stuff, and like stuff that Yanni's talked about, stuff that I've talked about with the Masons. I'm just saying that there are these people plan things out in centuries. They don't even think about years, they think about centuries. And a lot of these people go way back. They know that their furthered agenda is not going to happen even in their lifetime, but they do some weird stuff. They're into some weird stuff. Just look into it. Just like what happened with the Queen, this past year before and I knew she was going to go shortly after this when they did her 70th coronation, if she wasn't already gone. And then they put her on Stonehenge. I think it was her birthday. Pictures of her on Stonehenge, and y'all know that they do a lot of crazy stuff over there at Stonehenge anyway. And then God had already told me, and this is before Billy Graham passed away, way before, and it's back on my videos from way back. He told me, watch for 3 signals that are coming. First one, when Billy Graham passes away, there's going to be a shaking in the religious or the church community. And he was showing me that people were going to start getting exposed for the things that they were doing in the dark, that it was going to be brought to the light if they did not repent. He was giving them time to repent, but if they don't repent, it's coming out. And it has been. It has been. Then he told me, and in this order, mind you, which is strange because they happened in this order. And then the second person was George Bush Sr., old man Bush, Poppy Bush. He's not a very nice guy. Just going to say that. I did vote for him in those days because I was pro life, so I had to vote that way, and conservative. And I have voted independent before, but you just throw your vote away. But I'm just saying that there's a lot that goes into that and the 9/11 thing and all that. But the Bushes were in office for, I mean, seriously, from Reagan, from 2 years with Reagan, then Bush Sr. had 1 year. Then the Clintons and the Bushes are a gnat's hair apart. So then we've got 2 more terms with Clinton, just 8 more years, because Clinton literally called Barbara Bush mama. Okay, I'm just saying, if you look into it, you'll see what I'm saying. Then on top of that, George Bush Jr. did 2 more years. These are the same people that are pushing this globalist agenda. You know what I'm saying? So we have to think, they give us Pepsi or Coke. You know what I'm saying? It's like Okay, well, the troops are getting restless, so we'll give them Pepsi right now. Uh-oh, well, they're wanting something different. Let's give them a little bit of Coke. Do you see what I'm saying? Not as in Coke you snort. Although the Bushes were into that, bringing those things over too, and the Clintons, and so many of these other people. See, it's on both sides, is what I'm trying to say. It's like a tournament, a tournament, a tournament of lies, like what this song says. I love Billy Graham. My mom had us to sit and watch him. She made us some popcorn. Yeah. Well, the first time I ever gave my life to the Lord for real, I was 16 and I was at a Billy Graham crusade that came to my state, and they played at the Carolina. Yeah, where the football team plays at the what's that called? Williams Bryce Stadium. That's where we went, and they gave an altar call at the end, and I was so hungry for God and just didn't know how to get to him. So I meant it, buddy. This was like a year after my parents forced me to have that abortion. And I was so broken, and I was just like, yes. And I really felt it. So that was when I gave my heart to the Lord, actually, was when I was 16 at that Billy Graham crusade. But I never like had any kind of, I never read the Bible or anything after that. I never had any, what do you call it? Discipleship, I guess that's the word. Like I didn't know how to continue with my walk with the Lord. But he was working on me the whole time. It was just I was 27 before it really went bam and just took, and I was in locked in. And I knew that I knew that I knew that I knew. And yes, I'm fixed to give you a linky, Miss Sherry. Hold on, we're gonna get through the end of this, and I'm gonna skip through pieces of it. But I just find it very interesting. Oh yeah, and another thing is, I had a dream about a knife situation also, that a man came in my house. Kind of like that dream Candace was saying she had when she was talking about that dream that somebody came through the wall and that they were shaking and stuff. When she was talking about that dream that she had, I was like, oh wow, I can relate to that. I had a dream so similar, but in my dream, it was a man. He just came in the room, and my daughter was younger in the dream, and he had a big huge butcher knife, like a big knife, like we've got one just like it that's red, but the one in the dream was white for some reason. I don't know why. And I was sitting in like one of those roller office chairs, the gaming chairs or whatever. And I was in between my daughter and the door. And he just came through, and he had that big, huge knife. And I was fighting him off of my daughter, or fighting him away from getting to my daughter. And I woke up because I felt that blade on my neck, and I could feel warm running down the front of my chest in the dream. I mean, it felt so real. I could actually feel the warmth of like blood going down the front of my shirt after I felt that sharp knife on my neck. And then I woke up, of course. But I remember just like shaking so fiercely after that dream. And at first I was like, was that an attack from the enemy, or was that a warning? Honestly, I feel like it was a warning dream that the enemy is after our children. I really believe that. And that we've got to stand up even to our death to defend our kids. Like, I really believe that. Oh, there will definitely always be a void in my life. Uh, I'm serious. There's no other way. There's no way there can't be. Uh, I have 4 children. I still have 4 children. Well, I've got 6. 3 are in heaven and 3 are here. But the 2 that were in heaven first, I never got to know them yet, but I will one day when I get there. And then my son, I just thank the Lord for the almost 32 years. He would have been 32 June 15th. How about that? The same day that Summer went missing, but in 2021. But he would have been 32 this June 15th. And so I feel like the Lord is doing really good with me. He is helping me so much. And all of y'all's prayers and all the prayers that I've gotten, they've also helped so much. People don't understand how much prayers work until you've on the side of needing them. They don't understand that. So, okay, now I've shared those dreams, but and not everybody has to believe in that, but it's just that my dreams usually do happen to come true, a lot of them, and uh, so I just thought I'd put that out there. So we're gonna let's see, get back to this for a second, and then I'll hand Miss Sherry a linky before we get off. Let's see. The other night, after, okay.
Nice continental drifting by mountains, sitting in a light, Leonard Bernstein, Leonard Bernstein, Lenny Bush and Lester Bangs, birthday party, cheesecake, jelly bean, boom, symbiotic, patriotic, slam, button, that, right, right.
Right, right. I had to throw that out.
It's
Okay, I think that's all of it except for the end of the world as we know it. But anyway, so I find that interesting. I'm going to go throw a link down there for anybody who wants to come up and talk. Let me turn this off. That so we won't get crackly. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Let me send the link out. And then after that, I'm going to have to go get me something to eat. I'm feeling I got to take my blood pressure medicine. And we know if I take my blood pressure medicine, I'll probably pass out up here. I still feel terrible about that last night. I'm so sorry, y'all. There, Miss Sherry. Do you see it? Sister Sherry. Sister. Come on, Althea. I put your link out. I put your linky out. I think I don't pay the $25 StreamYard because like I don't take up money or anything and I don't pay for it. I pay for it out of my pocket. So I do the lesser one, but you're allowed to have, I think, 3 people up here, honestly. So if anybody else wants to get up here and has anything to say, you're more than welcome. More than welcome to. I know this is running into what 2:58, 2 minutes and 58. There she is. There she is. Hey,
Love you.
I love you. We can see you and that pretty smile.
Love you. Oh, I chipped my tooth. Look.
Oh no.
Yeah, I chipped my incisor. You won't believe how I did it. I was flossing my teeth with those floss pick things that I have right next to me at bedtime and floss my teeth and everything. And I flossed this side of the gap and I flossed this side of the gap. And when I came down with the floss, it just chipped off. So when you get old, things get brittle.
Yeah, my teeth on the top
That's
are
why
horrible.
I don't like peanut brittle.
Yeah, I can't eat peanut brittle no more. I can barely eat my crab ragoons anymore because my teeth are so bad on the top.
I'm no different than the night as I am in the day. I've had many people say that.
I'm the same, except for when I get tired. Hey, Lori P, how you doing?
Yeah, that's because we know what to do. We know what to do with ourselves when we have problems.
We sure do, and I'm doing it right now.
It's the thing. It's the people that have a big void in their life because they haven't accepted God.
That's right.
It's only our first life. It's only our first life.
Right. This won't begin until after we go home. Yes. Way more real than this one.
You need to get right with your God so you can be there.
That's right.
Seriously.
That's exactly right.
I'm not kidding you guys. We ain't jumping on a spaceship. On a comet or something. The truth from thousands of
is a test. That's what I believe. Because
this is our first life.
That's
our
right.
next life will be eternal.
Eternal. We're a vapor in this life.
Yeah, a vapor. You know what vapors do? They fade away.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I believe that this is a learning. This is where we decide. Seriously.
I've got to meet you, Sayla. It's going to drive me crazy.
No, we're going to meet very soon. We are. If I can, I'm going to try to go on the June 15th and do that. But that is Zach's birthday.
We'll pick you up. We'll pick
Well,
you up.
here's the thing:
I've
we've
already
got to
talked to
decide.
Eric about it. We can go to where you
Um,
live. I have a good idea of where you are.
yeah, yeah,
You're
you're
not
very
that
close.
far over
No,
the
you're
South
very
Carolina
close.
line.
I'm not, and you're very close
I
to
know
me. And
exactly where you are, and
so,
I'll
what
tell
I
you
was
it
thinking,
start.
if we do
I want
it,
him to tell the chat what letter it starts with, but I know where you are.
yeah, yeah, and I'm very close to where I said I accepted the Lord from. We're at the Billy Graham crusade. I live close to there.
Pardon me.
I live very close to where Williams Bryce Stadium is, where the Carolina football, Gamecocks play.
Let me change my AirPod.
Oh,
See if
she's
I
got to
can hear you a little better.
change your AirPods.
Okay.
I said I live close to. I told you where I accepted Jesus. Well, the first time when I was 16 at the Billy Graham Crusade, that was at Williams Bryce Stadium, and that's where the Carolina Gamecocks play. So I don't live too far from there.
Oh, the Gamecocks.
Yeah, my
Gotcha.
husband is a huge Carolina Gamecock fan.
Oh,
So,
okay. I gotcha.
I'm not much in
Gotcha.
football, but you know, I kind of like Clemson because the orange and the
You feel
purple.
like
Oh no, Donald Duck. Uh-oh. Miss Sherry, can you hear me? Are you there? Uh-oh, she's hung up. Uh-oh. Can y'all put on there? Miss Sherry, you're hung up. You're hung up. It's like going. You might have to drop down and come back. It might be your earpiece. You're Donald Duck. Quack, quack, quack. Oh, bless her heart. And she even put her new one in that she'd been charging. We need to get Miss Sherry or send her about 3 earpods to charge up and have on the go and ready. Dang duck, I know it. Doggone it. And then the crazy thing is, it sounded like it was a record skipping at the same time with Donald Duck going, "All right, all right." I don't know what that was. That was crazy. Yeah, she was Donald Ducking it. And also Donald Ducking it with a record that was skipping. That's what it sounded like. Oh my goodness. Oh, we love you too, Laurie. Have y'all ever heard of Miracle Ear? There she is. Maybe she got it straightened out. There you are.
it's the end of the world as we know it,
And I feel fine.
and I feel fine.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's the
we all
best.
need to feel fine when that
That's
time
the best
comes.
part about it. We
When
feel
that time
fine because
comes,
we know where we're going.
we're against a lot of odds right now.
Yeah, we are. We really are.
We really are. I mean,
Hmm.
things are happening all over the world faster than I can watch the news. I'm not
Yep.
kidding you.
Faster than that song
People
plays on
don't believe
regular
me when I
speed.
tell them that Africa is splitting off from itself. There is a part of Africa on
It
the
is.
east side of Africa
Hmm.
that is absolutely moving away from the continent.
And I saw that a
True.
couple of days ago, and I
It's
was like,
true.
whoa, that's what I saw in my dream. That's why I was wondering, is it Africa I saw, or was it the United States? Because, when you're way up, like on Google Earth looking down, they kind of look similar, except that little piece that Florida kicks out at the bottom. But, from far away, it's hard to tell. But when I saw that and how wide that crack is, I was like, whoa, that is interesting.
You know what? I've always wanted to go to Israel to see the Holy Land, but I have.
Uh,
There's enough peace to go.
I know. I wanted to go too. And our church went like 4 years ago. I think Trump was still in office and they went. And that's the last time I think they went. But I wanted to go so bad the next year. And that's when the old C got us. The old Corona, not the beer. Corona, both. It wasn't no beer with lime in it. It was something else that got us. But that stood in my way of going to the Holy
Corona with
Land.
lime. You killing me. How do you know
That-
so much about drinks anyway?
Oh, girl, I told you I was 27 before I knew the Lord. And listen, I am so scared
Well,
of
I
sharks.
know the Lord too, but I still like to drink beer.
Well, I still drink it. I'm not I know a lot of people in the Pentecostal church are teetotalers. A lot are, but I am not
Hey,
a
is
teetotaler.
cannabis allowed in South Carolina?
I'm not gonna say because somebody might get me in trouble or something. I only do CBD. Why, of course.
Same as I.
Yes, CBD.
CBD.
Yeah,
Yep,
CBD.
that's all.
It comes in all forms.
It helps.
It really does help.
It really does.
And I
It can
found
change your
out.
whole world in just a split second. You can be anxious and be just crazy acting, and then that just absolutely is the most calming thing. I think we wouldn't have any world
We would
wars
not
if
have
everybody smoked it.
war. But
If
that's
everybody
why.
smoked it, there would be no. Why do you think it was called the peace pipe anyway?
Exactly. Think about the Indians. They
The Indians taught the settlers how to grow pot.
That's right. And do you know back in World War II, do you know if you owned a farm more than a certain number of acres? In fact, Ford, who made he was forced to grow cannabis to help make the planes for World War
Yeah.
II because of the hemp and all that stuff. And I'm just like, you all know where it's coming from. Big pharma puts a lot of money in the pockets of our leaders. So that's why they don't want us to be able to go in our backyard and grow a plant that is healing to us. That is going to cause a problem with them.
Read Genesis. God
Yep.
says He put all the things on this earth
Seed-bearing
that we should
plants.
eat or
Yep.
use, or plants that will grow in seeds. And read it again.
It does. I put that in my
That
little.
is, they
It's
discovered
scripture.
Selah
It
in
is. It
Israel,
is.
in Jerusalem. They discovered. I
Yes.
watched this on National Geographic.
I saw
They
that
discovered
too.
a little bowl, and they took some sediment out of that bowl, and they tested it, and it was THC. So
Yep.
people in Jesus' time were smoking
Even
pot.
they said the
And
anointing
before
oil.
that, the Egyptians.
Yeah, they said even in that anointing oil that they found from back in like Israel and Jerusalem, a lot of the anointing oil had THC filaments in it.
Yes.
So that tells you right there.
But a lot of people don't know this.
They don't know
I've
because you know
researched it.
why? They want to be brainwashed into what the government tells us. And they would rather us take these pharmaceutical things that are all these side effects.
No way.
Instead of something.
Opioids. I could be on opioids right now, but I choose not to do that.
Same
I lost
here.
a friend. I lost a friend of 45 years, my best friend.
Yep.
Because of opioid use.
Yep. Yeah.
My very best friend, I lost her.
I've just lost, in the matter of a couple months, I lost three people, from opiate, because they bought a pill off the street that had fentanyl in it.
Mm-hmm.
I almost lost one of my daughters while we were going to the funeral, my son's funeral. She had gotten a Xanax from a friend and took it, and guess what? It was fentanyl, and she did not know it. And they happened to be, by a miracle, in front of an emergency room out in the country. It was like God put that little emergency room right there because she was turning blue. Her lips were turning blue.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is while the funeral was going on. While I was burying my son, this was happening with my oldest daughter, my oldest child. And she just took a half of it. It was a half of a Xanax because she was afraid to go to the celebration of life because that's her brother and they were so close with, not taking anything. Plus their actual biological father is going to be there, which is like a trigger for her.
Correct.
And so I can understand her wanting to take a half of Xanax. I got that. But
yeah, I got that too.
You got to be careful. Yeah. And it was a friend of hers, and I don't know where they got it.
Beer. It's 1:36 Eastern Standard Time.
Look, it's 5:00 somewhere. I say it's 4:20 somewhere, and it's 5:00 somewhere all the time.
I have to agree with you on that. You get my age, Selah, you just get to the point where you don't give a flip anymore.
Right.
You're tired of people telling you what to do, like you don't have any sense and stuff
Exactly.
like
When we
that.
have
And you just,
wisdom from life, we
they
know we've been
treat
there.
you, some people treat you like,
A
oh,
second
you've
class
always been.
citizen.
They think, no, they come to my house and they look at me like, oh, you've got it real cushy. And, but you know what? I worked for this. And
That's
by the
right.
way, I suffered for this.
Uh-huh.
And don't even come to me thinking that's how my life has always been.
Well,
No.
right.
It's the
That's what
way
I'm
it's been
saying.
since I was 41,
Right.
but it's not my entire life has not been this way.
See, and that's what I say. Right now, yes, we own
But
our
people
own
think if you're
home.
retired, you just got it made and whatever. You don't have any
No,
pain. You don't have any
it's not like
sorrow. You
that at
don't have
all.
anything. Nothing wrong with you.
Nothing like that at all, is it? And the
No,
thing is,
ma'am.
look, my days, okay, right now we own our own house. I'm so thankful for that. We got a low house payment. We got in at a 2 point, let's see, no, 3 point, is it 2.6? 2.6% interest rate, I think is what we got. My house payment's like 300 and something dollars, literally. And with our taxes and insurance, it's only 550. That's it. We are blessed because we live in a
That is
very established neighborhood.
that's very inexpensive.
God did that though, because this house is worth 300 and something $1,000, but um, but we already owned half of it, and then we just bought our other half out from my husband's brother, and we just closed on it and paid him his part. But because he wanted to buy it and he wanted to get it for cheap, he kept saying, "Oh, it's only worth this." So we held him to that whenever he couldn't buy it, and we said, "Well, we're gonna buy it," and he had to stick to the same. We had to stick to the same price. So I was like, "Yeah." I kept telling my husband, I said, "Let him run it down. Let him. And I'm like, okay. But God's going to turn this thing around, and he did do it. And listen, I love my brother-in-law. I'm not saying anything, but you know how some people are whenever money's involved. It's just they get, they lose sight of everything, of all their senses. Yes. Yeah. Especially with family. You know how that gets. And, yes. So we had to play that and let the Lord deal with it. And I said, Lord, we're just going to let you deal with
That's
it.
what I'm
And
doing.
they have plenty of money and plenty of credit, but guess what? They could not get this house. They could not get it. They couldn't get the funding for it. And they live in a 3-story house on the lake, and they both have very good jobs. And it was a God thing. It was a God thing, because whenever people act ugly like that, God is going to take care of his children. And even if both of us are his children, he's like, well, I'm still going to, just like when you've got a child, multiple children, and they're having a dispute, they're all your children, but you're going to stand up for what's right, and you're going to give the child that does the right thing a blessing. And we didn't do anything to stop him from getting it or anything like that. We just trusted the Lord. And sure enough, they ended up not being able to get financed. And so then I said, well, we're going to try to buy it. So we went ahead and got approved within a couple of days. I mean, it was just like the easiest thing. And I look back now and I'm still like, this was God. This was a God thing. And at closing, his wife didn't even come. She couldn't even come because she was so ugly to me.
It
And I
is a
prayed.
God thing.
Yeah, I prayed for her too. She was so ugly to me on the phone, but I still prayed for her before we got off the phone that day. And I'm like, God's going to work this out. He's just going to work it out. I'm not even going to fret or worry over it.
You know what? You want to hear something strange? I love PG.
Well, I love PG too. And that's why
I do.
I do too. I love everybody. I do.
I
And I
do.
don't want anybody.
I'm not going to condemn somebody because they think or speak differently from me. But I don't have to. I don't appreciate some of the
Right. I
things. But
don't like her going after my friends. That's what I don't
yeah,
like.
I don't appreciate some of those things. But when it comes down to it, she's a sister to me in Christ. So
That's what I've said.
I have to
I'm
treat
like,
her kindly and
right.
treat her. That's the way I am. This is
And
who
if
I
you,
am.
that's right, Miss Sherry. And if you look back on my ones that
It
I've
comes from
made,
my heart. It comes from my heart.
that's right. It comes from my heart too. Whenever even I made the video about her, about me praying for her, I was praying for her on that live
I
because
pray for
I
my
was
enemies.
serious. Because seriously, I don't even look at her as an enemy necessarily,
The
because she's
Bible
got the
tells
right
us
to
pray for your
believe.
enemies.
Yes, yes, it does. It does. Because it says when you do that, listen, things happen that wouldn't normally happen when you pray for people that actually give you a hard time. The Lord will move. He will move. Seriously.
You know what I
And
pray? I pray that God softens their heart.
that's what I
That's what
pray.
I
The
pray.
same thing. I always pray, Lord, take that heart of stone and turn it into a heart of flesh so that it is
Right.
a good soil to receive the gospel and that the enemy could not come steal it.
Correct.
Hmm.
Uh, according to what I believe.
Yes, according to what I believe too.
I can't say for anyone else.
Right. We
I
all
will
have to
try.
just say,
I'll try to convince you though to
yeah,
go to God before
right.
the world ends as we know it.
That's
This
exactly
AI
right.
stuff, this artificial intelligence stuff is scary.
Hey, Lucky Charms.
Very scary.
It is. Oh, and the stuff that it says,
Very
like,
scary.
uh, I've got an Alexa, okay? And the stuff that it
No,
says
Alexa.
sometimes,
Oh no.
and it's in our den and we barely use it in there because it's hooked up to my Kindle with a Fire Stick. You know what I'm talking about? We have
But
a
it can
Fire
hear
Stick.
you. It hears your conversations.
Yeah, it does. You know what? I know that because it'll put commercials on about stuff you've been talking about and all
Same
kind of things
exact
like
thing
that.
with my tablet. Same exact thing with my tablet. If
Yeah.
I'm talking about something to somebody in the room, the next thing I know, there's an advertisement for it. And
Yep.
I'm like, what? I could be talking about hemorrhoids, and all of a sudden, there's
A
hemorrhoid
preparation H
ads come up.
commercial come up.
I mean, hell.
I said, listen, you know how people are identifying, okay, this kid's, I heard people talking about this earlier, people identifying as cats and animals and dogs, kids. I'm like, well, listen, I'm going to the bank today and I'm going to identify as a millionaire and I'm going to put a withdrawal up there. I'm going to say, I need to get my $1 million out of this bank because I identify as a millionaire. Now, I expect my $1 million. Now, don't argue with me about it because I'm a millionaire.
They won't do that.
They won't know. But
No, they won't. You're only allowed to draw a certain amount, even
I,
out of your own account,
I know, but
because
I'm
the bank
saying
is using when your
other
money
money.
is in
Yeah,
savings. The bank is using your money to lend to other people. So,
right.
and if you're going to get more than, I'll say the bottom line is 15,000 out. If you had it, then otherwise, that's all they're going to let you do,
Well,
unless you
my
make a
thing is
special appointment or something. I
mine is
mean,
a facetious
I don't have
thing.
$15,000 to get out.
Well, I don't either. But what I'm trying to say is people can, okay, men can identify as a woman with a dingling and go into women's sports and compete and win, which is taking everything back that the women have fought for so long away from them. I believe that. I'm sorry. But also these bathroom situations where men can say that they feel like they're a woman and they can go into a woman's bathroom and little kids go to the bathroom in
And
there and
they have family bathrooms now, man, woman, and child.
well, it needs to be one bathroom where you lock the door behind you. You know what I'm saying? So no matter if it's a man or a
The
woman, they go
family
in there.
bathroom, I believe you can lock the door. I
Yeah.
believe in some places. They call it a family bathroom, so if anybody needs to take their little kids to potty and stuff, or change a baby, or you know
And
what
you
I'm
know what?
saying?
I'm not even talking against gay people or trans people because I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a lot. Seriously, I have been in the beauty industry my whole life, pageants, all that kind of stuff. I've grown up with so many gay people in my life. My first 5 boyfriends were probably gay. Honestly, I'm not kidding. The first one I had, well, both of them are married to men now. And it's just because I was just always around that. And so they were my besties and
They were
before
probably sensitive like you were, and you could identify with them.
yes, and they're still my friends. Look, I don't care
I
that,
don't have anything wrong with that either. That's
but my thing is this: there, these people
people
pushing
say,
these
Sherry, have
agenda.
you tried that transgender Budweiser yet? I said, no. Why do I need to buy that when I like my own stuff?
Look, Sherry, I'll stick with Bush.
What?
Bush.
Did you say what I thought you said?
Well, look, that's that's called a Freudian. I'm like, look, if y'all don't have
I
a
can't
Bush,
drink one of those beers. I might turn into a man.
no, that's just it. If y'all drink Bush, stick with Bush. Oh, if you don't have a bush, you're not a woman. You're not a woman. If you don't have bush, you're not a woman.
This is a gut laugh. I'm telling you, that's a gut laugh.
Oh gosh. You know, you have to laugh about this stuff these days because if you don't, it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah, laugh all you want, but keep your mouth shut.
Right, exactly. I thought it was so funny though. When I saw that, I was like, the irony in this is just off the wall.
Yep. You know, my aunt died, and then my next door neighbor, Phil, died, and all these people. There were like 4 people in 1 month that died. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, there
But
is
we're all
something.
going to. So that's one thing. You can escape taxes. You can escape everything, but you can't escape death.
Nope, you sure can't. Well, we might be
Nobody
able.
can.
Well, one day, one day, some of us might.
We'll just have
Those.
a. You know what? We just get up there and have a big old party and watch God smile at us.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I can't. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Well, other than the people that aren't saved yet and that don't know the Lord yet, because that's my main concern. I know I'm good. Like whenever it happens, I'm good. But I just
Yeah,
want to
it's
make
like
sure that all my
I
loved
told the
ones are.
preacher that I didn't need to be there, that I already knew all the stuff he was talking about. It's other people that need to be in this church, not me.
Well, Jesus said, "I came for the sick," right? So the thing is that and he always says, "I leave the 99 righteous on the hill to go after the one every time." So it's like he comes for the ones that are straying away, because he comes to bring them back into the fold when they're lost. And that's what Yeshua means salvation. That's what his name actually even means. His Hebrew name, the true
And
name.
I want to tell everybody out there in YouTube land that the word rapture is not in the Bible.
No,
It is not
harpazo.
there. And
Harpazo.
also, it's not Revelations with an
It's
S. It's
revelation.
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 John's Revelation.
Yeah, it is. People do call it
His vision.
revelations. Yep.
His vision.
And
As he saw things. As it was put to
another
him
thing
by
is,
God.
y'all have to think about this too. This man was living on the island of Patmos at the time when he wrote that, and he had not seen the things that this world was like. So he was trying to describe it in the best way that he could describe it from what he had seen. So he has a lot of things in there he talks about, like they had stings like scorpions, when he talks about the from out of the abyss and all that stuff. Y'all have to understand
Right.
he's trying to describe these things with the best things he had to
The
say it, to
pestilence.
describe
It's
these
called
things.
pestilence.
Yeah.
It's in the
Yeah.
Bible. The
All
word
that stuff that's
pestilence.
coming. Yeah.
Locust. Remember
It
about the
is.
locust eating
Yep.
all the
The
crops and
locusts.
all that stuff?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's all in
pestilence.
there. And it's happening
It's all
now.
there.
It is happening
It's
right
all there.
now.
Go look at it.
Yeah.
It'll
It
scare you to
is.
death. It'll scare you to death unless you're right with God. If you're
Well, it
right with
don't
God, it
scare
won't
me.
scare you.
It don't scare me anymore. But that's how I got
But
saved,
that's
was
what I'm
through.
saying.
Yeah.
If you're right with God, it's not going to scare you. But if
It
you're
used to
not,
scare.
reading Revelation will scare you.
Yes, it
Everything
will.
is made. All right. There's 7 horses. There's 7 of this and 7 of this and
7
all this stuff,
bowls.
and
7.
all of that is just it's metaphorically written. Metaphorically, I mean, there weren't 7 horses or whatever, maybe,
Well,
but it
and
might have been
like,
7 nations.
well,
Now
it's
we
the
do have
10 kings
7
and the
continents.
10.
We have 7 continents. Count 'em.
Right. Yes, we do. But think about this also, where it talks about that look that there's a beast out of the sea. I think it's Revelation 13. There's the beast out of the sea and the beast from the earth. Okay, which is one's talking about the false prophet, and then the other is talking about, well, the beast out of the sea with the 10 horns with the 10 crowns, which stand for kingdoms that have not received their crown yet, right? So I'm thinking after this coronation we just had, we're going to see some changes. I think we're going to see some global changes. I think we're going to see the map that
What
was
do you
made
think?
after World War II that were
What do you
divided
think
into
about
10
Nostradamus,
segments.
Selah?
I've listened. I
What do
used
you
to
think
listen
about
to.
Nostradamus?
I think he was an alchemist, and I
He
think
was
that
an alchemist. That's true.
yes,
He was an
yeah,
alchemist for a
yeah.
fact. Okay.
And so that part of it, I'm a little about. But I do believe God still. I believe He still had prophetic insight, but I think He kind of went a little bit astray, a little bit. But I do think some of His things are right on the money. I do.
Yes. His quatrains, as they're
Yes,
called.
the quatrains. Yes,
Yeah, the
and
quatrains.
some of his
But
stuff is.
he predicted all this stuff. He even predicted Hitler had just missed one letter out of his
He
name.
called him Hister. Yeah.
Hister,
Yep.
Hister.
He did. He called him
Hister.
Hister. Yep.
And he did name him.
Yep.
Now that's pretty freaky.
Now I do believe that Hitler was a
Do you
antichrist.
believe there are prophets on this earth?
Yes, I do.
So do I.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
know
believe there are angels on this earth?
I do.
Do you believe there are angels unawares?
I do. I do. I do.
Okay.
I also believe there are good angels and I believe there are bad angels. I believe that the Bible tells us and shows us
Archangels.
that. Yep.
There are angels.
There are angels that fight for us. And there are angels, because if you remember, I think it was Jacob that, was it Jacob or Daniel that had prayed for an angel to come help him, and actually the archangel Michael
Daniel.
had to get into it. Yeah, it was Daniel. Yeah.
It was Daniel in the lion's
And
den.
he was held up for however many
Yes.
days because he was fighting
Yes.
the Prince of Persia, which it was a actual spiritual fight.
By
in the
the way,
heavenlies.
guys, Persia is now Iran or
Right.
Iran.
Right.
That's the old name.
So all that Middle East stuff that's going over there that people think doesn't matter, it matters a whole lot, because that is where so many things in the Bible took place, over in Egypt, in Turkey, in Africa, in all of these
Yes.
nations, and even
And
Gog
Jesus
and
is
Magog.
Jesus was a very dark man. Very
Yes, he was
dark
brown
skinned
skinned.
man.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. Listen, look at where he was.
Diamonds, I think
Look.
we all have guardian angels. I do believe that. From the time we're born, I believe that
I've
God
got one
assigns
right here.
us.
I've got one right here on my lampshade a friend gave me, and it's pinned to my lampshade.
Yeah. My mom used to collect angels. She did a pageant, her and a friend of hers, a beauty pageant. It was called Angel of Beauty. And that was the name of
Wow.
it. So she collected angels all the time. And I got most of her collection, and they're put away. One of them is on my front porch, and the cat knocked it over, so I got to glue it back together. And I've had it since she passed away in 2006. But it was a cheap little one.
My mother died in 1996, the bicentennial year.
Oh, wow. Well, that's 10 years apart.
Yeah, she died on June the 1st. She died of early Alzheimer's onset.
Ooh,
she died at 59.
That's so young for that. Wow.
I know. And I was only 39, and it really tore my life apart.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was 35.
I got married to my best friend, and it didn't work out. We'd always done things together, he and I, and good gosh, when we got married, it was a whole different ball game.
See, that's how me and my husband are.
I
We were
could
best
not
friends.
believe it. I could not believe it. I was like, why are you treating me this way?
Oh,
you
no, he turned
my dog
bad?
in the face. You kicked my dog in the face just because she walks up on the porch with her mama. You kick her in the face, then you're going to kick me in the face, man. I know what you're headed to.
Yeah, my first husband was like that.
And
bad news.
It was
news.
like this. It was like this. I'm gonna knock you out.
Yep.
I said, go ahead and knock me out. I said, you'll be in jail for the rest of your life, son.
Yep.
Go right ahead.
And my husband, my ex-husband, excuse me.
Oh.
He threatened in front of my oldest child. She was 3, so she remembers it. But I let him come over on Christmas Eve because it was our first year apart, and I left him. And I actually tried to move where he couldn't find me because he was a little bit cray-cray. But he found where I was anyway. And he said, well, I want to see the kids Christmas morning when I wake up. And so I said, okay, but you're going to have to stay on the couch. Well, when he got there, of course, the couch wasn't good enough and he had been drinking. And he told me he was going to slit my throat and he was going to put me in the trunk of the car and roll me off into the river because if he couldn't have me, nobody was going to have me. And I'm like, well, go ahead and do it. And I took that knife and put it up to my throat with his hand on it. I said, do it. Please do it. I'd rather be dead than be with you anyway. he?
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. Yeah.
Yes.
And guess what? There's such a thing as marital rape too.
Yes,
When you
there
get a
is.
divorce with somebody and they come in the
And they
house and they
force
want to
you.
go get their hunting clothes out of the basement in the basement bedroom closet and go in there and then you get thrown down, arm across your neck, choking you half to death, and all the time unbuttoning his pants with one hand. I'm about to die. But
Ugh.
I'm not going to go any farther than that.
We can
Further
picture it.
with it.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to relive
Ugh.
that. I don't need to relive that. That was a long time ago. That was like
Yes.
1997, 98.
Thank God the Lord gets us through those things. Like Diamond said, she said with the things she does when she was younger, we know we
I
got
didn't
guardian
tell
angels.
my father. I didn't tell my father what was going on because he would have killed him.
See, I was the same
And
way. I never
he
told my
he
dad.
said to me, if I had known what was going on, I would have killed him.
See,
I
when I
said,
was until
Dad,
I was ready to leave.
that's exactly why I didn't tell you.
That's right. That's right. Because until I was ready to leave, I didn't
Protecting
mention
my
it to
father.
nobody. Right. And I didn't want my daddy going to jail. And he would have.
Me either.
You know, and I was like, that's not going to do any good to put my daddy in jail because he's taking up for me. So I was strong enough, thank God, that I got my kids. I worked and saved money behind my ex-husband's back. When he left to go to work one day, I had the U-Haul ready and a bunch of friends. We loaded my apartment up in about 45 minutes tops. I left him the bed because I did not want that nasty marital bed. And I did not, and I left him a pot to cook in.
I did too.
And I left him his clothes and his shoes, and I was gone like the wind. When he came home, it was like tumbleweeds blowing across that apartment.
Surprise, surprise.
Yep.
Bye-bye. Chop, chop.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, I'll see you.
I'll see you later.
I'll see you later.
But I can tell you right now,
we're so weird, Sayla. We're weird.
But we're weird in a good way. I've always danced to the beat of my own drum.
You make me laugh so much.
And listen,
you're funny.
We'd have a
You're
ball
funny.
together.
You're
We'd have a
You're
ball
actually
together.
Funny.
Well,
we have to all get together. We are all going to get together. The
yes,
good
we
people.
Are. Yes.
The good people. The good people that only of course we want summer home. Who doesn't want summer?
We all want summer family.
I have pleaded and begged to whoever has her to drop her off at my house. And look, I won't look at your car, your license plate. I won't look at anything except that child.
Exactly.
Just drop her off.
And they have safe places.
Research me and find my address and leave that child with me, please.
Yes.
I plead with you.
And you know what? That dream that Candace had, I really believe that might have been a prophetic dream she had about that man that she saw that was shaking like that. She saw
vigorously shaking.
Yeah, because I could picture what she was talking about.
I complimented her on the word vigorously.
Yes.
Not what people usually say vigorously. I mean,
but anyway, I know what she's talking about. Yeah. And I could almost picture it when she was talking about it. Yes. And honestly, imagine this. And then they were coming after her because she was talking about that. And I'm like, this woman's child is missing. First of all, you think of every horrible thing that could ever happen if your kid is, you don't know where it is.
You know what? As Christians, we should give everybody the benefit of a doubt.
Yes, I'm trying.
We should.
I'm trying
and
so
it's
hard
to do sometimes because it's easy to point that finger. Isn't it?
It is. But
it's
then
easy to point that finger.
Then you got some pointing back at yourself when you do that.
That's right. You got three more. You got three more.
That's right.
Point right back at you.
That's right. And that's why I kept saying, because in the beginning, I know. Notice also what it looks like if you're pointing it at somebody too.
It's impolite to point at people.
It is, but at the same time.
So don't point at me anymore. So.
I'm not pointing. You can't see. I'm pointing. I'm picking my nose.
Or I'll have to Althea later.
You'll Althea me later. I'm not pointing at you. I'm picking my nose.
Who would you ever come across, say, in your lifetime that would know what Rose of Sharon means? And I said Althea. And who else would you know that would know that?
Well, God brings people together for reasons. So that is just
Yes, he did.
confirmation. That's just confirmation.
It's good. It's
Yes.
good. It's all good out there.
Uh-huh. That's right. And it's funny because still we were trying to tell Miss Daisy what that was the other night. She didn't hear a thing what we were saying.
Was she
She didn't.
asleep?
No, she was just talking. She didn't catch it.
Well, I can't hear well, and I talk over everybody, and it's my damn fault because I can't hear well. But I'm getting ready. If AirPods don't come out really soon with a hearing aid devices, then I'm going to buy the German ones, the Nanos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how much they are or anything like that, but I need to get some hearing aids because I can't hear. The guy was weed eating in my yard, and Erica said, "Do you know somebody's weed eating your yard back there?" And I was like, "No." She said, "You don't hear that?" I said, "No, really. If I didn't have Lola for my ears, I don't know what I'd do."
Yeah, thank
Lola's
goodness
my ears.
for Lola so that she can
Lola
alert you
has
if
big
somebody's
ears, and
there.
that's her biggest thing on her is her ears, and she hears every little thing.
I saw Lola when
She hears
Jinkies.
the ice maker dropping cubes in the bin.
So you know when your ice
And
is
she runs in
ready.
there barking to the kitchen, and I'm like, now what is in the kitchen? Nobody but me.
The ice.
But I figured out what it was.
Yeah, the ice
And
maker.
Miss Daisy's smoke alarm,
Oh no.
she hears that too.
I bet she does.
She has gotten off the bed when she's heard it. I swear to God, this is true. And gone into the living room to get on the sofa, the back
Trying
of
to
the
look
sofa.
around.
No, she knows where it's coming from. She just didn't like that high pitched
She don't
noise.
like that high pitched noise, yeah, because dogs and cats have
No.
very sensitive ears.
It's very funny though. I don't have sensitive ears. You can clang cymbals in front of me and I wouldn't know it.
My husband is losing his hearing too, and I'm like, you know what?
It's
God
not
is
funny,
so
really. It's not
no,
funny,
it's
really,
not.
but it is funny.
It's not
It
good.
is funny.
Well, I'm
I
gonna make
laugh
a
about
joke.
it all the time.
I'm gonna make
I
a
have
joke
people
about
do
it.
this to me. Sayla, they do
Uh,
this to me all the time. All the time. They say, I'll say something and they'll say, huh? Huh? Like they can't hear.
oh gosh, that's rude. Well, my husband, I said, God is letting his hearing go because he's been with me for so long, and that's just his. That's a blessing for
So
my
he
husband.
doesn't have to hear your damn
Right.
mouth anymore.
Right, exactly. And then I said, and God is also good because
God takes care of
he
his
lets
own,
our
doesn't he?
eyes go so that when we get old, we look at our spouse and we see them like they used to look in our head because our eyes are so blurry we can't see all that's there now. So my husband thinks he's loving on my 21-year-old beautiful self.
Don't get me started. You're
I'm
about
like,
to get me started. You're about to get me wound up.
I know. I'm like, that's how I know God has a good sense of humor, and he's also
You're having
so
too much fun.
kind.
You're having too much fun. I know what you're doing. I wish I'd quit getting all these robocalls. They drive me crazy. These people call me. I don't know who they are.
You need to
And
get you a
if they're my
phone.
family, they're my bio family. I don't answer anyway.
My phone has got a thing. It says "scam likely" at the top, and I'll just push the button. It says "screen the call," and it'll say, "Please tell your business and what you have called." So they got to answer what they're going to talk to me about, and I can either delete it or I can answer it. Boost Mobile.
Oh my God!
They ought to they ought to give me a
gosh.
sponsor for that.
This is too much fun. This ought to be against the law.
It is against the law in some states.
I guess it is against the law.
It is. Yeah, you're not allowed to have fun in some states. Fun is against the law. And the fun police will be sent to your door immediately if they sniff you having fun.
I call them angels unawares.
Yeah. They're unawares, all right.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, they're unaware.
White boy the other day, He was so funny. I was watching his
I
video.
love him. I
I
love him.
do
Isn't
too.
he wonderful?
I do. I love to watch him. He is so funny. And I was watching him the other night and he saw my name come up there. He was like, Saleya? Saleya? How do you say that? So his
Salega.
wife, his wife kept trying to tell him. And I was like, yes, I'm Sayla. And I said, it's Saylah, like so you can say it. I said, but you can call me that. I said, Sayla Slaya. Sayla was Slaya. Because he was, bless his heart, he kept having so much trouble with that. Because every
Oh
time I make
Lord, you and I are so much alike. It's scary. We
that's what I
enjoy the
said.
same things, and it's scary. It's pretty scary,
We might be
actually.
kin somewhere down the line and don't know it.
We could be.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
Because you remind
We,
me so much of my mother. It is unreal. Because my mom was only 52 when she passed away. So I only know her up to the age of 52. You know what I'm saying? But oh my gosh, you and her, y'all remind me so, and I love my mama. She was so funny. She had the funniest sense of humor. She smiled. She wore her red lipstick like you, all no matter, you know what I'm saying? And just beautiful. My mother always kept herself, all dressed. And when she went
thank you.
somewhere, yes,
I'd like to be compared to your mother. She sounds like a fabulous woman, and she must have been to have a daughter like you.
thank you. And she was.
And you
And
were
I
the
miss
only
her.
one. You don't have any siblings. You're an
I
only
have
child.
one, no, I have one sibling. I was 9 when he was born, or right at 9. And
Oh,
my
okay.
my mom and my daddy was an alcoholic, and he ran around on my mama constantly. And he was a I love my daddy too. Now listen, I was a daddy's girl. But see, he would do things like I would only see my mama fussing at him, and then he would act like he's the victim. So for the longest time when I was young, I would blame my mama for the stuff
Typical,
that was
typical,
going on.
typical.
Yeah. And until I got older, you know what I'm saying, did I see what it was. And so when he would go do stuff like that, I would say, Mama, come over here, just come over here with me. So she would come stay with us because my grandmother was already passed away. She used to go stay over there with her when things like that would happen. And I would not let my daddy come to my house because if he was drinking, my children would not be around that when he was drunk. Because I don't mean just having a beer. I mean falling down kind of drunk, like
Oh
where
no,
he where he'll
I
pee
don't
on
drink. I don't
himself.
drink any liquor. I drink beer, but you can gauge beer a lot better than you can liquor. Let me
Yeah,
tell you.
yeah. My daddy, he would drink vodka straight out of the
After
bottle,
that
just
first
straight.
two sips of that vodka, you don't care if you have the third, fourth, fifth,
Nope.
sixth, seventh, and eighth, and
And
ninth,
he
and
would
tenth tooth
drink.
stumbling around drunk.
I think he would do that as an excuse on why
You
he
can count
cheated.
beers.
Yeah. Well, when he would get sober, because he was a binge drinker. Like he would stay sober for months and then he would slip off the train and he would stay
Binge
drunk.
drinker.
Yeah, he would stay drunk for a week or so. So what I would
Yeah.
have to do is go get him beer and let him drink the beer to come down off the liquor because it would kill you if you don't, you know. So I would have to
You can
go.
have a stroke. You can
Yep,
go into seizures, all kinds of stuff.
yep. So I
But
used
see, if I choose not to drink a beer for 3 or 4 days, I don't go through all that crap. I don't go through any tremors or anything like
well,
that.
that's because you're not
It's just
doing
like
what
I
he
set
did.
down a Diet Coke and don't drink it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But that's different because he would like drink 24/7 for those week, like a week or so, and he wouldn't even eat or nothing. It was just only a liquid diet of vodka, basically. And it would be
I eat. Look,
me too. I hadn't been eating in the last couple. I've lost weight, thank God. That's the only good thing that's come out of this so
Sayla, when
far.
my mother died, my dad and I both lost 15 pounds in 1 month.
Yep.
Neither one of us could eat. He was in the bed that night. I spent the night with him, and I was in the bedroom, and he was in his bedroom in the bed, and he yells to me. This is gonna make you cry. He yells to me, Sherry, you still awake? And I said, yes, Dad. He said, are you too big to sleep with your daddy? I said,
Oh,
no, Dad, I'm not. I'll be there in just a second.
oh.
And he talked and he talked till he talked himself to sleep. And that
Uh,
was so heart wrenching. I mean, Sherry, are you too big to sleep with your daddy? Talk about people sleeping with people. Let me tell you something. I don't have a problem sleeping with anybody.
no,
Really.
me either. I don't either. I mean,
I really don't. I mean,
in
as
fact,
far as just going to sleep, I don't really have a
right.
problem. If you're a big snorer now, I might get somewhere way
Right.
away from you.
Well, my husband's a snorer, so I sleep with my beats on, so I can't hear him, and I'll have something. That's why I fall asleep to Miss Daisy's panel sometimes, or I'll listen to
Yeah,
Derek Prince or a
yeah, I've done that too.
preacher, yeah, or
Done that
music,
too.
yeah. So I don't have to hear the snoring, so it won't wake me up.
Yeah, I had
But
the first flip phone that came out. It was
do
the
you know my
bicentennial
husband
flip
had
phone. Yeah,
my husband had a flip phone until
My
last
husband
year.
worked for Ma Bell, Southern Bell or Bell South
Oh,
or
my
whatever it
husband's
is
aunt that
now.
raised him worked for Bell
Cox
South in Atlanta.
Communications.
She lived in
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia, and she was one of the higher ups for Bell South.
Wow.
My husband,
That's strange. You
yeah,
know the
because back
King and the
then women
Queen
weren't.
buildings downtown Atlanta? You know, the King and the Queen buildings, that's where his office was. They he went on trips all the time. They were flying to him everywhere to teach classes because he knew specific ways of how to do things.
Yeah,
Unless he had another wife from California and he was going
well,
to see her. He would come back and tell me he'd been at the bar with all these women and stuff like that. And I said, well, that's just fine. That's just fine. I'm going to sleep in the guest room.
oh gosh,
Bye bye. You're not giving me any diseases, man.
no. My ex-husband, he was like that. He went
He
and
wanted
did
me to
things.
move to California. He wanted me to quit my teaching job. He wanted me to do everything.
Oh heck no.
Yeah, he came in and he didn't like leftovers, and I put some leftover cream of corn, really true cream of corn, not the canned crap, on the table, and he didn't like leftovers, so he came in and he took his arm and he just threw all of that off the table. Food went flying, dishes broke, everything, and
Candace was talking about her first husband was like that.
I hope you're happy because you've got to clean up this damn mess.
That's right.
And I walked around it. I walked around it and I tiptoed around it until he finally did clean up what he created.
Oh,
Dumbass.
well, I don't blame you. Candace said her husband was just like that, and so was mine. And I'll tell you right now, I almost ran over mine. I threw him out the car in the middle of the road and took off and left him right there in the middle. He had to walk back home to his mama's with his tail between his legs.
Uh-oh.
Matthew said the jury is back on the Lori Vallow Daybell. The judge is going to be reading it at 2:45.
Okay. It's 2:14 now, my time. 2:15.
Yes, 2:15 here
Eastern Standard Time.
because we're right close to each other.
Yes, I know how far away you are.
So that's only 30 minutes from now. But I
Are you
feel
an
like
alpha dog? Are you an alpha dog?
I believe so.
Think about it.
Sometimes. Now, are you talking about
I'm
an
trying to ask
alpha?
you where you are by saying if you're an alpha dog.
Um,
A, B, C. Choose one.
yep. See,
If that's where you are, you're farther than I thought you were.
I'm right in
See?
the middle. I'm right in the
You
middle.
pick C.
I picked C.
Well, hey.
No, Donald. Well, Miss Sherry, your thing is going like a record player again, and it sounds like Donald Duck. There she goes. Well, I guess we'll go and get off because we only have a couple people left in here because I think everybody is going to watch that Lori Vallow Daybell because they're fixing to come back with the Yeah, I know it did me too, Matthew. My daddy was like that. He grieved himself to death after my mom died. He really did. He did not realize what he had when she was here, and then when she was gone, he wanted her back. But that's how it is sometimes. You don't know what you got till it's gone. You know that old song, don't know what you got till it's gone. That's what I say. So appreciate the people in your life and love them and show them how much you love them. I'm going to go ahead and get off because we have been on here almost 4 hours. I can't believe that. It has been 3 minutes and 50 seconds. 3 hours, 51 minutes now. Wow. This has been a long live. I made up for not coming on yesterday and sleeping. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. I ask for forgiveness again. And I love y'all. And I just want to thank you for coming in here today, especially if you stuck in here all this time. And we're going to see what happens with Lori Vallow, but Daybell, but surely to God in heaven, there's got to be justice here in this case and in all these other cases. So, in the name of Jesus, let's bring back all of these children. Let's find them home. Let's bring them home. There she is. We're gonna get off because we're gonna see about this Lori Daybell. But I was just saying we're gonna say a little prayer for all these children to come home.
Excellent.
In the name of Jesus, Lord, please bring these children home. Let them be found. Let there be closure, whatever the answers are. These parents just need answers, Lord. They cannot continue to go on with their life without your help, without your strength, without your love, and without your support, Lord. Just love on these parents, no matter the hate they're getting. And Lord, please bring resolution to little Monkey Vaughn and to little Summer Moon Utah Wells. Lord, and so many other children that are out there missing that haven't had the luxury of being in the spotlight. Lord, I ask you to send your angels out and dispatch however many that you need to go to those children if they're alive and to be with them and to keep them safe until they are found, Lord. We ask for your safety, your provision, Lord. And we just ask for your strength for these parents to stand in the gap until they are found. I know that it's so hard for them. I can't even imagine. I can't put myself in it, and I don't want to. Every time I think of anything like that, I have to shake my head no because I can't even comprehend it. And these people that are being so hateful, Lord, we just pray for them too. Lord, we ask them for you to soften their heart so they can see that these are grieving parents, and the last thing they need are people coming at them and slinging mud at them. Lord, I ask you to just let people have a soft heart when it comes to these parents of missing children. And then if it comes up that they have something to do with it, we'll deal with it then. But we're going to let the Lord deal with that. And we're going to let the Lord do justice and let the Lord do judgment. So, Father, I just thank you and I ask you to continue to help Miss Sherry's hand heal because it has already healed wonderfully and supernaturally. And she's going to be able to light her lighter with that hand very soon in the name of Jesus. And Lord, we just thank you for covering us with your Holy Spirit. And we ask that you touch every person in this chat room that's been in here and all the YouTube people out on the YouTube streets, Lord, the ones that don't know you. Lord, I ask that you make yourself known to them and let them feel your love. Let them know an unconditional love of a father that is perfect and that never, ever disappoints. And I thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, I pray all these things. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And I love you,
Amen.
Miss Sherry. I'm going to get off
I
because I
love
got to
you
get me
too,
something to
darling.
eat.
I love you too, darling. It is time, isn't it?
It is. And I'm so thankful you came up here and that we got this time together today. And we
Yeah.
are going to soon, very soon. I
We
got a
could.
friend coming today to work on my car. And when I get my
Okay.
car going, I'll take a little ride down there. Now I will because it ain't that far.
Okay. I expected that.
Yes, definitely. I think we would laugh so hard that we would probably have
Oh,
to put
honey,
on a
it'd
depends.
be
We're gonna
terrible.
put
We'd have to have. If we ever went anywhere together, we'd have to have Bell, buddy.
well, yeah, we'll make my husband go with us and he'll bail us out. I
I
told my
love you,
husband
Taylor.
that.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you
you
for
too.
being a friend. Traveling up
Travel
the
down the
road and
road and
back
down again.
again.
I'll be going
Your
down. We
heart
coming
is
up.
true.
You're a
Your heart
pal and
is pure and you're a true confidant.
a yes. And if I throw a party and I invited everyone I knew, the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say, "Thank you for being a friend." I love all
Yes.
you. I love you, Miss Sherry. I love y'all.
I
I'll
love
see
you
you
too.
later. I'll see you later, sister.
Althea, I'll see you later.
I'll see you,
My
sis.
baby.
Bye. I love y'all. Y'all have a great day. Bye. Yeah, she was ducking it.